Well, I tweeted, so y'all gotta
Okay,
start.
I think we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tub Takes. We are here today with four extremely high placing players, the San Antonio Regional Championships over this last weekend. Uh, we introduce ourselves. Let's start from the top. Raghav?
Hi, I'm Raghav. I just got second at San Antonio Regionals. I am a friend of the channel, and that's all I have to say right now. You guys know me.
I,
I'm gonna pass it on to who's
okay,
next?
let's
Burns?
do it popcorn style. Go for it.
Okay, I popcorn it to Burns.
All right, yeah, hi, I'm Justin Burns. Some of you may not know me because I haven't placed well at all in Scarlet and Violet yet, but I just got top four at San Antonio Regionals. And I'm also a friend of the channel. And I guess we'll popcorn to Z, who's next in line on the standings.
Hi, I'm Z. I just got fifth at the regional in San Antonio. You might also know me as Hearth Flamer, Flower Tricker, Z Fable, Life Orb, probably 25 other names.
Yeah, you gotta work on
Uh,
that.
Ford.
I gotta pick one. I will at some point. I'm also engaged to Raghav. I hope everybody will stay tuned for our wedding announcement coming soon. But yeah, I will pass it over to last but not least, Jody.
Oh, hi y'all. I'm Jeudy. You guys may or may not know me. I tweet sometimes. I also got top eight at this exact tournament. I am friends with Z, Raghav, and Justin, who are friends of the channel.
Let's keep the energy going then. Hey, this is your host Adi, as per usual, and I'm done with this.
Ignore the guy in the back eating his dinner.
That was my dinner. All right,
We
so
will be locking
I'm
Rajan
just
in
still
the
at Adi's
closet.
house. I'm still at Adi's apartment, and we thought this would be a racially motivated bit, and it was. So here you go.
We will be locking Rajan in the closet for the remainder of Tub Take, so don't worry, we're getting him off the screen.
Oh, I went 1-2 at that tournament.
You
Don't
know
post
fully well
any more.
he will not.
Please don't post any more mean YouTube comments about him because he won't be here for the actual show.
Sorry, we've already lost half our viewership because I wasn't on the show.
That's fair.
But yeah, we got. My name is Adi. You guys know me. You guys know me from. I'm the Clefairy guy. Actually, that's me. The guy with Struggle Clefairy. Oh shit, got Jeudy tweet too. But yeah, we were all at San Antonio. This is maybe the most stacked top 19 ever in my opinion. And so we had a really good time there. And so we're gonna be talking a little bit about San Antonio. Obviously, I know this was the last Regulation F tournament, other than some locals that might be happening over the holiday season. So we'll briefly give a recap of our San Antonio experiences, and then also I think we're mostly going to talk about all the new Pokemon, all the new moves that came out in the DLC, and how we think it's going to we think it's going to impact the metagame and what we think it's going to look like coming up with Portland. And of course, that's going to be the focus of maybe the next couple weeks of Tub Takes as well. Hopefully, Audie and Alex can stream together again at some point in the future. But for now, Alex isn't here. Instead we got four people who are actually maybe good at Pokemon, and also myself for some reason.
And me eating in the background.
Yeah, I guess that's like a suitable Alex replacement. So, all right, so we just had San Antonio regionals, and it was won by Giovanni Costa, his first regional championship with a really cool team. But I guess again, I don't really want to dive too much into that, Antonio, and why you chose to run the team that you did.
Yeah. So I'll start with the team since that came first. I feel like I was feeling confident in the format just because I had done really well at the previous two tournaments and was just confident in my play no matter what I was using. So I wasn't like stressing, but it did become a point where I'm like, what am I going to use? And then my friend Kunal, who all of you know, showed me a team that he was working on that wasn't even in VGC. It was like in doubles OU, and he was trying to translate the idea. And it was like some Tinglu garbage, but it was really fun. And then slowly, like, I changed almost all the pieces, and we got this. And protecting the King Gambit was just really, really good. And I realized, okay, Clefairy, King Gambit, and Lando Eye are really strong. And I've kind of just used Rillaboom and Arcanine as glue for like a lot of things. It's kind of just comfortable to how I play. So I felt like really confident in both my play and the tournament, and the team going into the tournament. So yeah, I was just like kind of I felt really chill, and when I actually came to the tournament, all my games were pretty good. It just like I feel like the trick with this team is actually trying to find the safest play sometimes. And so when I was sloppy, I'd lose a lot of game ones, but after that, it was pretty smooth sailing. I feel like all my sets were interesting and not too hard, except I think my set versus Z was really hard, and my set versus Burns. Burns kind of like in Swiss. Burns kind of just like ripped my ass like pretty hard. And as for Top Cut, my brain is like kind of went mush. Like my set versus Jeudy was literally insane. Like you all can go watch it. I feel like it was a pretty nuts set. But yeah, overall, San Antonio was really great. I'm usually not too excited to go to Texas for some reason, but I had a great time. I met a lot of really cool people, and obviously, I did super well. So yeah, overall, great tournament experience.
Yeah, it was super cool. I think you might have had, maybe with the exception of maybe Riley, you might have had the best 2023 calendar year out of anyone in the entire world. Just like such a crazy year with two internets, top cuts, like something like five regional top cuts. I think just absolutely insane.
Three, I didn't cut a single. I didn't go to a single date. I didn't date to a single regional last year.
Oh wow, but you cut two internets. So it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah, that's how it be.
built different. All right, Justin, you were the next highest placing player. You want to talk about your experience a little bit and your team a little
Yeah,
bit?
so my team's pretty basic. It's just you can see it on the screen. It's very similar to like what Zine used to win worlds. But I really started my building process with wanting to have proactive strategies into Torn Urshifu, and I felt like Chien-Pao did that really well because obviously you threaten the Icicle Crash on the Torn. It's faster than the Torn, so it's forced to Tailwind. It can't like get a free Bleakwind Storm in front of it. Um, and I also put Lash Out on it because I wanted to punish the tools that Torn Urshifu usually has. So that would be the Arcanine. If it tries to intimidate, I can punish that with Lash Out, and that was really good. So I built around that, and I really liked it a lot. Having a proactive strategy into Torn Urshifu really like may I think it would make them feel uncomfortable because Torn Urshifu's supposed to be the more proactive team in most of its matchups. So I was really happy about how I prepped. Um, I was really happy about how I played. Um, I only lost three times. One of them was to like a straight mirror. The other was to Justin Tang on stream, which was very 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 unlucky. But I was still fine with how I played, and I made day two. And then I had lost to Raghav in top four. Um, a tricky matchup. I did beat Raghav in Swiss, but I felt like every game we played, he preserved his Lando Eye a lot better, and it made it harder to beat him. So he beat me in cut. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with my run. It's the first time since NAIC 22 that I've made a deep run. So very happy to get my confidence back and feel like I can still compete at a high level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all thought it was just a matter of time. And you also did, do pretty well at Worlds too, at least in day one. So, yeah. But yeah, it was kind of funny because four people in Tub made top cut, and three of you guys were on the same side of the bracket, and so Raghav had to run through both of you guys. And so I guess Jody, do you want to talk about your experience a little bit as the other person who Raghav had to beat?
Yeah, so this is like interesting. I was not feeling the best going into this tournament just because recency bias, and my last tournament was Toronto, and I had like a month to simmer with that. Uh, and I got to the team because I kind of went insane like 2 days before the tournament. So originally I was on Gambit with you, because I thought that Clef Gambit was broken,
Yeah,
and
it
it
kind of
was.
was.
Yes. And then Raghav made their version. And at that point, I was just like, I'm sorry, baby girl, but Raghav's version is looking a little bit more. I was like worried about the switches, and I think Raghav's Clef Gambit had like a lot of more balancy aspects that I liked, especially with Harkonnai and Ogerpon. And then I was playing both teams on ladder, and a Reggie Drago clicked Dragon Energy, and it did like 40 to like 50% to my King Gambit. And I was just like, I can't do this. Why does a team get to do that much damage on a resist? So then I was like, I knew that Tang was playing this. So then I like slid into Tang's DMs. I'm like, hey. And then Shiliang was cool with me hopping on board. And I just used Nils' team. I was already done with the format, hate regulation E at this point. So I was like, as long as something to make my games go by quicker, and this made I was like one of the first persons to finish like every single round. Uh, and it was due to this team. I'm glad that like every team I was on ended up doing good. So I felt like I truthfully I could have played any of those teams and have done good. Like my play was really good, which was very reassuring. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Top eight. Had a sick ass set with Raghav.
One thing I will point out is that you had the air slash torn. Obviously, that was something that Nils was running as well. But it looks like you faced at least one Bramblegast in day two. Bramblegast actually kind of popped off this tournament, so that definitely seemed like a really strong call.
Yeah. Truthfully, I didn't even know I faced the Bramble gas because they didn't bring it, or they might have, and I forgot. But I don't remember any of my matches day two. So um, I just remember getting a torn Shifu bracket, and I have a lot of unique speeds. Like I had a fast Rillaboom and a fast Urshifu, and that just beat so many players just because they thought they were like faster by having a timid Goldango, which is you're insane for that. Well, yeah,
Hmm.
swag.
Yeah. And then Z, you of course were on the other side of the bracket. Had a crazy run day one. I think you went 9-0 day one, and then finished 12-2. So tell me a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, so first of all, leading up to the event, the way that I kind of prepped was sort of visualizing how I wanted to approach certain matchups. And originally, I was on some balance variants. Like I had the same six Pokemon that Justin had for a while. And then I had sort of a different balance version with like King Gambit and Sinistia. But ultimately, I decided that balance was not going to sort of match up into those teams how I wanted it to. And so I'm looking around at teams and I see the Nils team from Stuttgart and I'm like, I can work with this. This kind of fills my criteria. And of course, I made a couple edits to it to sort of fit how I specifically wanted to approach these matchups. So it's not the exact same as like the variant that Jeudy and Justin Tang had or the variant that Nils had, but there's a lot of similarities. The main difference I'd like to point out is the Scarf Urshifu, which I think was actually super, super crucial to my run. I opened up a lot of games with like Rillaboom or Urshifu, and it sort of like pins a slot, and you can abuse that pressure and just go for like a U-turn and reposition. And that was something I was able to do a lot of times in the slower builds. Um, but yeah, I really like the team. There's so many different modes that you can play. It's very flexible for best of three. I will say, unlike Jody, I was not one of the first people to finish every single round because out of the 15 rounds that I played, I only had two sets that were finished in two games, and one of them was a win and one of them was a loss. So I was playing a lot of game threes, which was definitely stressful. But I was able to come out on the better end of most of those, going 9-0 in day one, starting out day two, beating Jeremy Parson and Riley Factura to be 11-0. Uh, Lost to the most handsome player in the tournament, Raghav, to drop to 11-1. Won round 13 against Alan Martinez to be was at 12-1, be the only player to guaranteed beat in top eight after round 13. Uh, Lost to Justin in round 14 and got pretty embarrassed by Joe in round 15. And that pretty much sums up my tournament run.
Hmm. Uh, yeah. So I mean, and same sort of. I think if we briefly go over the metagame, we're going to see a lot of the same things. And you obviously saw that the two of the three Reggie Drago teams, Tang, of course, using the other player in Top Cut using Reggie Drago, using the exact same team as Jeudy. So three of those teams in Top Cut, and then if you keep scrolling down, you're going to see a lot of Clef King Gambit stuff or King Gambit redirection stuff. Right, Joe used a King Gambit Amoongus team. And so did Riley, of course. Riley, both of them using kind of Riley's signature team. So those two teams, and then we're kind of everywhere. And then of course I will talk a little bit about my own run because I did go to this tournament. I started 10-2, and then finished 10-4. I lost to Gio on stream in round 13, and then lost to Joe in the win in round 14, and then bubbled out of top 16. But I was really happy with my team as well. I think that if I had 2 more weeks, I probably would have used something like Raghav's team, like Arcel's team, that I think was maybe a little better, similar to what I was trying to do, but a little more refined. And just like Jeudy said, where he was Jeudy and Arcel were both in the group with me and Carson, and both kind of bailed at the last minute to run different stuff. But I'm really happy that all 4 of us managed to do as well as we did. But yeah, same idea. We had this team for about a month ahead of time, and we're just kind of refining it a little bit. And Carson and I ended up coming to some slightly different conclusions, but I think we both did really well. Clefairy King Gambit was absolutely busted. If you look at, we'll look at some of the usage stats, but there were, I think, 4 Clefairy in day 2, and it was me, Carson, Arcel, and Raghav. And all 4 of us had talked before, and all 4 of us were strong believers in that core Clefairy, King Gambit, and then Ogre Pawn, even though we ran 2 different Ogre Pawn forms. That just felt really powerful going into the tournament, and I think it really overperforms all day. So I'm really happy with that. I'm sad that I couldn't sad that I could have pulled it out against Gio, especially on stream. That was a hard matchup, and I thought I played pretty well. And I was told afterwards that that I was in a position where his I thought Iron Hands would KO with Heavy Slam into my Clefairy. And it turns out that it actually would not have, or would have been a roll in my favor. And I think I could have played that endgame very a little better. But very proud of my performance. I think I played a really difficult schedule, and overall did pretty well. So yeah, happy to have gone 10-4. Obviously not quite as good as some of you guys did, but very happy with the team and very happy with my performance at the event overall. So yeah, let's talk a little bit. So I don't want to completely brush over San Antonio, even though obviously this format is kind of expiring, I guess. Incineroar expected to change a lot of stuff. Some of the new Pokemon that we're going to talk about expected to change a lot of stuff. But I think this regional was reasonably different compared to what felt like a very samey format for the previous little bit. And so I guess, do you guys think that any of the teams that you saw do well here, especially since we saw a couple new teams? We saw Gio's team, not something we really seen before. The Raghav team that Arcelor also used a similar team to that, did very well. A lot of the Clef King Gambit stuff did very well, and then of course Nils' team kind of came about a week ago at Stuttgart and super overperformed. Which of these things do you think has staying power going into Regulation F?
There are 2 things that I want to draw attention to as we move forward. The first one, in my opinion, still being Reggie Drago. There are a lot of new dragons in the format, and as people experiment with a lot of dragons, that means there's a lot of dragon energy targets. So people are going to have to think a lot about the Reggie Drago matchup if they're going to be running something like the Raging Bolt, Walking Lake Archaludon, Gouging Fire, any of those guys going forward. Because dragon energy hurts, especially if you're weak to it and you take 2 times damage. The other thing, Lando Eye. I don't think Lando Eye will be going anywhere, and in fact, I think it gets a little buffed because one of the opportunity costs of running Lando Eye right now is that you don't get Lando T's Intimidate. Well, now you have Incineroar's Intimidate, so you kind of get everything you want there besides maybe stacking some water weaknesses. And the other thing that I think is important about that is if you were to run it with Fluttermane for all these new dragon types, I feel like a lot of the dragon types are going to want to run like Terra Poison or Terra Fire or something like that, and Lando Eye punishes those Terras. There's a lot of synergy there. So those are definitely like 2 of the Pokemon that I'm going to start looking into, that like from the pool that we already have going into the new metagame.
Yeah, to add on, I think a lot of the top 8 kind of translates. Like, I truthfully, I think like if it's good in Reg D, if it's good in Reg E, it's probably gonna still be good in Reg F. But Mons that did really well here, even Gambit, we're talking about Incineroar coming back, so you better start looking into your Defiant slash competitive Mons. So Gambit, one of the first mons I think of that are big. One mon, I'll say one mon I think might not translate too well. That I don't know yet. I'll have to see games. It's actually Ogerpon. I don't know with all these dragons. There's just more natural resist to like Heart Flame, say. So curious about that. Now I'm not too worried about Wellspring, but I think Heart Flame might have a harder time.
So I
Yeah.
don't mean
I think
to
it,
interrupt, but I just need to say one thing quickly. We now have mini sprites of the new Pokemon on Showdown, and that's very important.
oh,
That is
that's very nice.
Very cool. Now we still don't have them on Arcanine Labs, even though it's been a whole year. We don't have any of the new sprites on Arcanine, but Pokemon
Dude, somebody
Showdown.
lied to me. I swear somebody said that they added them to Arcanine, and I was so excited. And then I go to submit my list, and they're not there, and I got very, very disappointed.
I think the I forgot what the plugin is called, but or the Chrome extension that Azulite made. I think that adds these sprites to the new Pokemon.
Uh,
Oh,
That's pretty
speaking
cool.
of that extension, that's what got me a warning at the tournament.
Wait, what did you do?
'Cause,
What happened?
the judges during my game against Tang, they had to check my team because I used that. I had splash plate on my Urshifu
Oh,
and
you had
not
Mystic
Mystic
Water.
Water. Yeah, so like the rental I gave was Mystic Water, but my team sheet said splash plate, and then the
That's your
judges were
fault, bro.
cool about it. That is, but like that's actually just in Tang's fault, because every pace they only use plates, and plates are way worse than the ability items. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
my little complaint about Arcanine and that stuff.
Yeah,
But well, yeah.
I mean, thankfully, I mean, in the past, that actually would have been a game loss and a mon loss. I know that happened back like in the Gen 7 era, especially that's happened. But thankfully, I think since some high profile incidents, they've reworked the rules to make it so they're a little more lenient and good for that because you should not be losing a Pokemon just because you mess up Splash Plate versus Mystic Water. But yeah,
Haven't that Tang ran Mystic, so he was really just trying to throw you under the bus, if we're being honest.
yeah.
I can explain. Tang. We'll talk later.
But just to add to what you were saying before Rajan, so rudely interrupted us, I agree. I think that the Ogerpon Heartflame mask is probably going to be a lot worse. Just one because you just have one more fire, actually more than one more fire type that it has to compete with. You've also got Pokemon like Entei, Pokemon like Gouging Fire, which is maybe the worst name for a Pokemon I've ever heard. But Gouging Fire might be in the format, stuff like that. So it's got more competition as far as fire type goes, and Incineroar being the obvious one. But then also, but that being said, I think Ogerpon Water is actually considerably better, maybe just because it does do really well into Incineroar and it does redirect a lot of the Pokemon that are very strong, and it doesn't do nearly as bad into Raging Bolt as Urshifu does. So maybe it has a niche there as well. The redirection is going to be very strong. And the other one, I think that actually might be better. I think the other two might be better too, because Ogerpon Grass has Defiant, which is pretty good into Incineroar. Don't ask what it does back to Incineroar, but it does at least get the boost when Incineroar switches in, which is something. Or you can even switch into a Parting Shot and get a +3 boost on a Parting Shot, which is pretty cool. And you can also use Cornerstone Mask as well, and it has the Rock type Ivy Cudgel that is the only. Well, it's one. It's not the only one. I guess Water can also threaten Incineroar, but Ogerpon Rock not only threatens Incineroar, but also threatens all of the Dragon types. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some more diversity in Ogerpon, and Heartflame is the one that I think is really going to fall off.
I'm gonna be a homer, just for the sake of it. I'm gonna say Amoonguss gets better because he gets his best friend Incineroar back, and now you have like a very the defensive synergy is there, but now you also get to like have knockoff. So if you're up against a safety goggles and you want to spore the slot, you can knock off spore, and that's not something Amoonguss has been able to do because the two main knockoff users Meowscarada in Regulation A and Rillaboom since Regulation D. You don't really run um, those two with Amoonguss, so you can't really knock off Spore with those. But now you can knock off Spore with Incineroar.
We saw it a little with Roaring Moon, but it's not the same as like a defensive Mon as Incin. I agree with you that Amoonguss is better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing I guess I want to talk about too that Justin reminded me of is like Amoonguss is a Pokemon that really benefits from teams that sort of uh opt for slow play, and like Incineroar is a really good enabler of that. Whereas like in the past we have seen Amoonguss on like more aggressive teams as like an instance of like adding stability to a team, but now that we have Ogre opted for that, see the Regidrago teams from the weekend, and the King Gambit teams as well. So having more slow play in the format is definitely big for Amoonguss, I think.
I think I'm kind of curious to see because like Among Us obviously has Regenerator, right? And it synergizes with Parting Shot Instant really well. I'm kind of curious to see if like Instant Sinistra could work, just because like that hospitality spam sounds pretty sweet. Not related to this regional, but the other thing in Reg E that I think we haven't really talked about that's gonna carry over is that Turner Shifu's probably still busted. I don't really care that there's like the what is it? The Raikou Raging Bolt. What is it called? Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Raging
Yeah,
Bolt,
yeah.
yes,
Dude, I'm
Sirski.
actually very surprised I got that on the first try.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I think that it's a really great mon, like phenomenal. But like that's just one guy. Turner Shifu's they're just like mechanically pretty broken. So Whimsicott's annoying. The existence of it like rivals Torn in some ways as a prankster tailwind, but Torn's extremely good still, and obviously Bleakwind's like pretty good into Whims.
Hmm.
Your shout out to the raid from Himmy.
Yo, Himmy Turner, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. And also, Joe, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that too. Congratulations on your top four performance as well. Um, but yeah, I got two more takes for which Pokemon I think are going to do better. One of which is maybe the least interesting imaginable, which is Fluttermane. I think it's just going to be better, mainly because the best fire type now no longer resists Fairy. Incineroar can do pretty well into Fluttermane. It's still going to tank the attacks, but it has to invest a lot to really comfortably take things like Specs Moonblast. And it is taking a lot of recoil if it's clicking Flare Blitz, and if it's clicking Knockoff and your booster energy, that's also not very good. So I think Fluttermane all of a sudden gets into an even better position just because of Incineroar and also because of all the new Dragon types as well. And then my other take is for Rigorath. I think gets a lot better. We saw Geo actually win using for Rigorath, and I really liked his set where he had the Life Orb Psyshock Hyper Voice. It exerted so much more pressure than for Rigorath normally does. And it was maybe I faced a number of Farigiraf, and that was the only scary one that I faced. It just chunked so much, and so I think that set is really cool. I think this is probably the way that Farigiraf wants to be run in the future. And even though Incineroar does scare it with knockoff, and it can't fake out effectively, and when it's so easy to put two fake outs on your team between Iron Hands, Rillaboom, and Incineroar, and all those Pokemon working so well together, having things that can block priority is going to be really, really good.
Could see that.
And Clegg, thank you for the subscription, and also congratulations on your performance as well. And Dane, thank you for the sub. Oh my God, thank you everyone. We're on a hype train. So I guess those were my really big takeaways from this regional moving forward. Is there anything else that anyone wanted to talk about with regards to this regional and the teams that we saw?
I do.
Not. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I do feel like for the most part, a lot of teams they coalesce towards building around a steel type in Golden Go or King Gambit, and like if you scroll down through this list, a lot of them have either Golden Go or King Gambit. I think there's like very few that don't.
Just you, buddy.
Mm-hmm. And even you had a steel type in Heatran, which was very strong, right? So you can see a couple other. I guess these guys have King Gambit too, but
Yeah. I mean, I think the most common version of my team has King Gambit over Heatran.
Mhm.
I played that twice actually.
Dang.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh, I think one takeaway from this regional that I don't know how to feel about it about in Reg F, but like I did think Chan Pao had a really good performance with the Justin and Joe and Riley. I think that's really the strength of that team is kind of just like, okay, Chan Pao is still really good into these torn teams, and obviously Riley's team has the Dragonite, but I thought Justin abused the Scarflando really well. I feel like sometimes it somehow does underwhelming damage, even though it's like one of the strongest spawns. But next to Qianpao, it enables a lot, and I think again with the new dragons, with Wims Torn, I think Qianpao is still going to be pretty great.
Yeah.
mhm.
No,
The only
I
thing
think. Oh no, you go, you go.
I was gonna say with Chen Pao, the only thing I'm a little concerned about is that it isn't great into Incineroar. It can Sacred Sword it, but then also it is another Dark type that you're putting on your team, and so you're probably running it on more of a like hyper offensive core. Hyper offensive teams, of course, always love Pokemon like Chen Pao and Chi-Yu, but I think that the more balancy type of teams that we saw this Joe and Riley use are going to struggle a little more because they want to put Incineroar and because King Gambit is still very good, and now you're potentially stacking 2, 3 Dark types on your team.
No, but like hear me out. The defensive typing of Qianpao has like never mattered.
That's true. That's
The
true.
guy's just like super frail. And also you don't need to stack three dark types, but like people are creative. They'll find a way. Qianpao is just very good, I think. There's also other viable fire types that aren't Incin, interestingly. Like Entei is pretty cool. The gouging, what is it? Gouging, is it just fire?
Yeah.
Gouging
Gathering
Fire.
fire, yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, that I don't know how to feel about that one to be honest. But I do think Qian Pao is just like a good six, like Sword of Ruin's pretty awesome, and it being a dark type's not really that concerning because the guy gets two shot by literally everything.
Yeah, and it's like it's supporting. Like the defense drop is also a partner thing. Like, oh no, Incineroar is like still taking like 40 or 50 from Sacred Sword. I think the other thing is Champao just also gets a new partner in Entei, which is pretty cool. And they're like any physical attacker is always gonna appreciate truthfully Champao, and Champao still has Iron Hands. Like that guy is still there. That's another fake Amon. We have three really strong fake Amons going into regulation F. That's gonna be interesting. I know you brought this up earlier in like our chat, Adi.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Narrative now.
Into
Thank you for the
instant.
sub. Appreciate it. But yeah, I brought it up. I said, where I'm starting for Portland, my team building is going to be. I'm going to assume that I'm going to face maybe 5 or 6 rounds worth of double fake out, and I got to figure out how to navigate through that and what are the most effective ways to do that. I think like covert cloak is an item that you don't actually see on very many of these teams right now. In fact, I think Lab Mouse might actually have overall item usage potentially. I'm not sure if they do. Um, but and covert cloak going from an item that is not super common right now. Tornadoes sometimes run it, but even then, it's only like what 38% you can see. To an item that may just very well be on like 60-70% of teams.
That might be a bit of a high estimate, but I do think Covert's is solid. Like I think we'll see it maybe more on Torn and Whims and stuff. Um, I could see it on Mons that are like I need to do my thing now, whether it's like Venusaur on Sun. What did I want to try it on? I can't remember, but mostly Tailwind Mons. I think. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be on 70% of teams though, unless 70% of teams are Tailwind teams, which are is very possible.
Um, but yeah, I guess we've been talking a little bit about Regulation F. I guess let's go ahead and move on to diving into some of the new stuff. So for what it's worth, I think the next couple tub takes until we have really Portland regionals, we're probably just going to be speculating about what Regulation F is going to look like. Of course, we are going to analyze some of the online tournaments that are happening over the next few weeks. But to really give you guys a basis, we got to talk about all the new changes to the game, which includes the new Terra type that is introduced in the DLC, the new Pokemon introduced in the DLC. We probably should, I don't have this pulled up, but we probably should pull up a list of the new Pokemon that are returning in the DLC as well. I don't have that one. If someone has a link to that, actually, if you could link me that, that'd be great. There are a bunch of new attacks and a bunch of new TMs as well. I don't think we're gonna get through all of this next week. We're probably gonna try to cover the rest of it, but at the very least, I want to give everyone sort of a one place they can go, one source of truth that they can refer to see all the new stuff that is happening. And Justin, I'm gonna let you explain the new Terra type.
Okay, yeah. So Stellar type is the new Terra type. Um, it's mostly an offensive tool, um, because defensively you don't change your original type at all. So if if you're an Incineroar, you're you're still weak to water, you're still weak to fighting, you're still weak to ground, etc. Um, but offensively, it works in a very interesting way in that it will provide a boost to every type, but only once. So once you use a fire move, you don't get any. You get the boost one time, but you don't get any more boosts to your fire moves after that. Use a dark move, you get the boost, then you don't get any boosts after that. The damage modifier is if it's a non-stab, the boost will be 1.2 times, and if the boost is stab, it works like regular Terra, where the stab becomes double, like adaptability. So I think a lot of people were expecting it to be stronger than it was. So it's looking like it's going to be kind of a niche option on a lot of Pokemon. But I personally do think it still has potential, especially on Pokemon that have two very good stabs, or just two stabs in general that it might want to boost. For example, I think Fluttermane is potentially like a Pokemon that could abuse it really well. I know people really like Terra Fairy getting to spam Moonblast, but I think the Terra Stellar lets you play Fluttermane differently from how the Terra Fairy one wants to play, and I think in my mind that has a different kind of potential that Terra Fairy Fluttermane has, but I definitely think it could be strong. And there's other Pokemon that could potentially be strong with Terra Stellar, but it's definitely been come across as underwhelming to most players.
Yeah, that's been my impression of it as well. Definitely a little underwhelming. I think initially we thought it'd be maybe more than a 1.2x boost for other types that might have made it a little more viable, but right now it's really only boosting, put your stabs, and then 1.2x is, I mean, Ogerpon gets that for free, like why do you get a Terra to do that? So it does feel a little underwhelming to me, but yeah, I guess
Ogerpon does need to have its item to do that.
That's true.
And it needs the item and well, I guess it doesn't need the Terra, but like it needs Terra to use it. It's kind of locked into a specific Terra, so.
That being said, we've seen. I mean, just looking at this regional, I feel like a lot of the Terras were defensive Terras, or in the case of Ogerpon, it felt like it wasn't a defensive Terra, but it sometimes gave you a defensive boost, or at the very least gave you a significant offensive boost. And so, not getting any sort of defensive benefit to sort of swing a game can be it's a big trade-off. Let's say, even something like Fluttermane can really benefit from Terra Fairy defensively, where it's no longer it can resist things like Sucker Punch and no longer be weak to opposing Shadow Ball, stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel like that's the one thing that I'm like, man, I really like Pokemon that get to defense or Terra in a way that benefits them defensively and offensively, and this only benefits one of them, and also like only benefits you if you get like 2 attacks off, and then the 3rd attack doesn't get a benefit, which is just like a really weird place to be. But I guess, does anyone else have any other opinions about it, or any Pokemon they think that they might be really popping off with it?
I have one thing to point out. In my set against Raghav, I had to Terra game 2. I had to Terra my Fluttermane to get the damage I needed to like progress my game state, and he recognized that and E-speeded my Fluttermane on the turn I Terra'd. If I had Rainbow Terra, I would still, be a ghost type, and he wouldn't have been able to E-speed. And, maybe because of that, I'd lose out on the damage in later turns. Um, but I don't take that damage, and I could potentially have survived the Wood Hammer from full if I didn't take that damage.
I would sucker punch you instead.
Bro, you didn't even bring Gambit.
I know. I'm just saying there's like defensive reasons for Terra
Yeah.
Fairy.
Um,
Well, I want
yeah,
to. One thing is like we should probably. Did you talk about the Terra Blast? Did I miss that?
Oh, we also did not talk about Terra Blast.
Yeah. Can you explain that? Sorry.
So Terra Blast from Stellar type becomes 100 base power. Because of the way it treats Stellar type, you only get a 1.2 times boost to it when you use it the first time. And then after that, you don't get a boost on it. But if you use a Stellar Terra Blast into another Terra Pokemon, it'll be super effective. And everything else that's neutral. And also when you use it, uh, after you use it, your attack and special attack get dropped by one stage.
yeah. I think the only like I haven't really given much thought. Like you said, a lot of players think it is mid, so I was just like some of its applications is cool. The only thing I'm really sad about is that they didn't give like a stellar mass to Ogerpon because like that's a missed opportunity, and I'm like I need that mon to be relevant for years to come. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Because it would have been very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate myself for drawing attention to this once I go hit the ladder in an hour. But I do think that Armourouge is like probably one of the best users of Stellar Terra. You get to boost Meteor Beam, you get to boost an Expanding Force once and an Armor Cannon once, and like Armourouge's defensive typing naturally isn't the worst thing in the world, especially when it comes to resisting spread moves that resist Make It Rain and Heat Wave naturally, which are like pretty big when you think about getting past like Indeedee Armourouge elites. Uh, and I that was one thing that I know Justin originally was the first person I heard talking about the synergy between Stellar Terra and Meteor Beam, and Armourouge is obviously like the perfect mon for something like that to be abused.
Well, then in a similar vein, there's like a not to shift the topic, but there's like a new move, right? That like the electric one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
even know what it's called. It like boosts your special attack and is accurate in rain or something, right?
It is.
Arsludon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, is Art I don't know how to say that one. Duraludon the only one that gets it?
It is the signature move. Yeah, of Arcaludon. I'm not sure if
Wait,
Duraludon
why is
gets
it
it or
an
not.
electric move?
Corralon does not get it.
Uh, good question. I guess we can move on to the new Pokemon if we want to talk about that. Unless anyone has anything to add about the stellar type.
Well, I was just saying that could be good as well because as he was saying like, oh, Meteor Beam Stellar type, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing, you know, and then you can use Dragon and a Steel type move on the Arcaludon.
That's true.
Um, yeah, so I think that could be cool. I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like the only like like yeah, it just seems kind of mid. I don't know how to feel about this Terra Blast. The base power increase is nice, but like the drawback of the lowering attack and special attack might just be too big. I am interested to see if anyone can like be really smart with it and it just punishes like opposing terrors really well. And it's so early, so maybe I'm just like not understanding, but it does not seem that great.
Now, notably, Terra Blast and Stellar type does work with Contrary. So you can use something like an Enamorus to potentially try to get boosts using your Terra Blast. That is something you can do. And I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
that's the only relevant Contrary mon, right? Like that is something that you can do potentially to take advantage of that. But otherwise, I mean, we said Stellar Terra is already pretty niche. To run Terra Blast on it is also potentially even more niche. But there definitely are, I guess, a few fringe cases where that might be useful, and that's the one that I can think of where you really want to run Terra Blast.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
gonna look into that right now.
mhm. Now, Joe UX9 in chat saying that it feels like they were afraid to make something too broken, but they nerfed it so hard. Um, I think part of it, I really do, is that it wasn't actually meant for competitive play. I think that the Terra raid battles were just too difficult for a lot of people. The
Bro, you stole that take from Dragon Whale.
have not seen this take before. This is my own take. I think that I genuinely think like Terra raid battles are very difficult for, especially it's like 7-star raid battles are really difficult. You got to have specialized strategies, and this is just going to make it a little easier for people to do that for more casual players, and that was maybe the goal more so than trying to break competitive Pokemon for the third straight DLC. You know.
I'm not asleep.
If they didn't intend it for competitive, they would have made it broken.
And then
Like I also think that it's probably not really for anything other than like Galapagos to really abuse, and anything else is probably just out of circumstance rather than intention.
that's kind of my take. A lot of these interactions, we talked about Electroshot, we talked about Meteor Beam. If this was a 1.5x boost instead of 1.2x boost, I think that'd be so much better. But a 1.2x boost is not like Meteor Beam is already a really good move. Electroshot's already a really good move. The 1.2x boost is not usually going to take that over the top. To the point where I feel like Armarouge might still just run Terra Psychic, although I guess this is probably still better on Armarouge.
I think it
specifically.
does. Because, like, you can make Incineroar survive Meteor Beams from New Lunala in 2022, but if it had, like, a 1.2 boost, it'd be, you're cooked. So I think sometimes the boost can push moves over the edge. Especially since, if you wanted to, especially since with like Meteor Beam, you're kind of locked out of using a damage boosting item because you got to run Power Herb.
That's fair. And for what it's worth, this was one of the first questions I asked about this that I did want to clarify is that I think Justin told me this, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you attack into an immunity or if you attack into a protect, you will not get that doesn't count as your one attack, right?
Yeah.
And so that is another nice thing is like they can't like burn your psychic boost from Armarouge by protecting and switching into Incineroar. Something has to take that psychic attack. Even if it's resisted, something has to take it for you to lose that boost. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap up our discussion about the mechanics of Stellar type. I am curious to look at Grassroots tournament results to see if anyone does well with it. We'll certainly point that out if that is the case. But yeah, that's going to be over the course of the next couple of weeks. We're going to see a little more empirical evidence about what is good and what isn't. But for now, we've got a bunch of new Pokemon that we can talk about.
And mini sprites.
Okay, yeah. So we got a few new Pokemon, and then we've also got a bunch of returning Pokemon. So we got Archaludon, Hydrapple, Gouging Fire, Raging Bolt, Iron Boulder, Iron Crown as new Pokemon introduced in the DLC. There is also one more that hasn't actually been released yet, and we don't know if it's going to be VGC legal. So I guess we won't talk about it because it is a spoiler to kind of talk about it. But these are the new Pokemon that are presumably going to be in Regulation F. And then also, Justin, you seems very strongly believe that Walking Wake and the other guy are not Iron Leaves are not going to be legal in Regulation F, but those otherwise are also sort of new Pokemon that are added as part of these legendary trios. But
I just want to say that Iron Boulder's ugly as fuck.
That's the most important thing to talk about here.
Yeah.
well,
Uh,
Jeudy, which one do you want to talk about? Let's pick one of these guys and we can start talking.
okay. Truthfully, I like so many of them. Like even today, I was looking at the rock one, Terrakion, the rock psychic, and it has a move that goes to protect. And honestly, initially I'm like, this is kind of mid, but then I saw that it had Swords Dance, and that changed my mind. Because like that hit like with a move that goes to protect, kind of cool. So I think that's gonna be a cool mon. Also, it's a mon that can be put on psychic stuff that can be Incineroar, which is kind of big. That's one of Psy Spam's current problems. I think that even the Cobalion one looks good. Incineroar Rillaboom just looks really hard. That's like I think the big problem with side terrain in general, but specifically the new mons. Uh, Terrakion being able to like SD up and probably one shot Incineroar. Don't quote me. Uh, is pretty cool. I think that Raging Bolt is clearly the first one that people look towards to saving VGC. It's not going to save VGC, but I think it's really cool that it like can one shot both Urshifu Torn and like has great typing into Fire Water Grass. So that's where I'm at. Oh, and Gouging Fire is YouTube content for sure. That moment. Actually, Proto. I lied. Check the calcs for Protosynthesis, Terrafire, Flare Blitz. That probably does a lot of damage. In Sun.
Um,
But yeah.
But yeah, I guess we can start with Raging Bolt because that is the one that has been the most hyped up, and it is an electric dragon type, which is super cool. It's got photosynthesis as all the paradox mons do, and it's got this crazy 137 special attack stat, which kind of makes up for the fact that its speed is a little lower. Its defenses are okay, 125, 91, 89 is overall pretty good. Not exceptional, but good enough to especially take resisted hits from Urshifu and Tornadus. And then it also has as I think all these Pokemon do, it has a new signature move, which is Thunderclap, which is just electric special Sucker Punch, which is also very, very powerful. We've seen how Pokemon like King Gambit and Dark Urshifu can really, really easily take advantage of Sucker Punch as a very powerful move. This one, does have an immunity, but is still just so strong for a Pokemon that is in a pretty middling speed tier.
I want to point out that I think it has the longest neck out of any Pokemon. It's taller than Farigiraf and Alolan Eggy, and I think that should count for something.
Is
I'm
it? Is it?
surprised you know that.
I'm
Yeah.
also
Look
Actually,
it up.
surprised.
is it? Is it? No, but like going just off of neck, is it really bigger than a low end Executor? Because like Raikou got a body. Raging Bolt has a body. Like all Executor is his neck.
Okay, but like Executor, like this guy's like more than three times the height.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Is it really 3 times the height? Where is this guy? Anyone
I
get
felt like
Executor's number?
Executor was like 5 feet tall. No, 6 feet tall. What is that? I don't know.
Bro, this guy's got
Uh,
to be.
It's six
We were
seven.
looking at
no,
the
dude, it's
regular
35 feet
Exeggutor
tall.
for sure.
You're looking at the
Oh
face form.
man.
The Alola Executor is 35 feet tall. Raging Bolt is 17 feet tall. Alolan Eggy is
Oh
twice as
my
tall.
God! I just capped on the
Oh my
stream.
god.
Um,
Crap.
Exposed.
I will say,
Exposed.
I was playing
I
through
need
the
to
DLC.
leave.
Alolan Executor, not as tall as it used to be. Those guys are short when you walk around in the overworld. So I'm a little. I see why you'd say that.
Maybe they're babies. I haven't played the game. You know that.
Okay. Yeah. You just assume that Raghav plays the game. That's crazy.
Okay, I feel really sad. I'll apologize. Raikou doesn't seem as good as it did just as a minute ago, but Thunderclap's pretty crazy.
Thunderclap's a good move.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. In all seriousness, like that attack, the special attack set's insane. But like, look at its bulk, man. Like if you scroll down, like 90 defense is really good already, as we know from using Incineroar. The HP is 125. This guy is awesome. And
For
Thunderclap's
sure, it's
priority?
not squishy at all.
No. It's like I don't even care that it has like not the best typing. I'll burn the Terra on this. No, it has pretty good typing, but I mean like Fluttermane's scary, right? I'll tear
Weirdly
that
though,
guy
I
all
think
day.
it's only fairy and ground that I'm like super worried about. Like the dragon defensive profile, like combined with a fly and resist, is honestly really nice into basically everything else. So I am really excited. I think it's defensively quite capable and offensively quite capable. I don't think that it is quite going to be the instant S tier savior of VGC like people are prophesizing, but
Oh, definitely not.
it'll be. I think it'll be quite strong. We're probably going to see it a bit overused at Portland, but I think it'll settle into like a pretty strong place in the metagame.
It's definitely
I,
really good.
The
I
memes are
think it
good.
could be really good. Maybe not just against Sun, but maybe with Sun. Because obviously you have to remember it still has photosynthesis. Um, and Fire Electric is low key a very strong offensive pin I think there was some kind of meme format on Showdown. That was like, I don't think it was Mix and Mega, but it was basically like something. It was the format like you. One of the Pokemon that got banned was Raikou holding Red Orb, which would give it like the Primal Groudon boosts and also make it an Electric Fire type. And the offensive coverage was just so insane that it was like one of the Pokemon banned by it. So I do think like if you put Raikou with really strong electric attacks on Sun, with very strong fire attacks, it could potentially be kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that knowledge is helping us right now.
I mean, but like actually though, like I know the Bax Hail team, for example, that Raghav that you used way back when. I know that was making the rounds, and I think the first person I saw use it was found it from single stuff. They saw that Ice Body Bax was really common. They were like, oh, we can just use this in doubles. So like it is worth looking at how Smogon players are and how singles players are innovating using these new tools as well. I think that's actually a really good way to or one really good information source that I think is maybe a little overlooked from by a lot of VGC players.
And that's really smart. I'm glad you guys are my friends because I know I wouldn't go out of my way to do that.
Um,
Same.
yeah, so I guess Raging Bolt probably the one of these new Pokemon that is going to see the most play, and I guess we can talk about a little more about the other two that Jody brought up. So let's talk about anyone got any thoughts about Iron Boulder, the Rock Psychic type.
He's okay.
Seems bad.
Y'all, Swords Dance, bro. Honestly, I think it's the. I instantly knew it was kind of like a noob trap when people were like, yo, this mon's broken, it has a move that goes to protect. And that's how I know Urshifu's scarred, y'all.
Does
'Cause
it
that's not
get
like a broken.
does it get
No, it's
focus
good.
energy? Because if it
Wait,
gets focus energy, you could turn it into like mini or Shifu.
hold up.
Just run Dragon Cheer, Terra Dragon it.
What's its name?
I mean,
Raging
you
Rock?
can't Dragon Cheer Scope Lens is only 50%. Oh wait, no. Well, I guess yeah, no, it's not a dragon type. You'd
Yo,
have to
what's
Terra Dragon.
Pokemon's name?
Yeah.
Iron Boulder?
Iron Boulder.
I remember telling people that the best thing I think Iron Boulder does is give people another option for Rock Psychic type on Bokidoku.
Wait,
But
what's the other rock
Rock
psychic?
Psychic is just like such an abysmal typing, and I don't think that it is a Pokemon that's super worth trying to spend your Terra to get out of being that bad of an offensive or defensive typing. There's
What are
like
the other
five
rock?
other psychic types I'd rather play with in this format right now. So many things that are holding it back, I feel like.
What are the other rock psychics for Pokidoku?
Lunatone and
Soul
Solrock.
Rock and Moon.
Oh fuck, always forget those two. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
I
think it's a Terra Hog. Like SD, what is it? Surging Rocks. I don't know what it's called. Um, that one could be good, but it like Z said, like it's gonna take your Terra, and I don't want to use this psychic type when I could be using Soul Rock or Lunatone.
That's not what I meant. But
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
well, I mean, I think I was talking to Alex about this guy, and he was like, yeah, there's so many cool new Pokemon that do like interesting things. It sucks that so many of them are only viable when you put them on like hyper offense, just because they just kind of get run over by the existing offensive threats that we have in the format. Potentially just gets outpaced and dies, but offensively, Rock Psychic is fantastic typing. It hits so many things, but if it ever gets outsped, it's just dying.
Yeah, like if you Terra it, it's pretty nasty, but because I'm looking at its bulk, it shouldn't really die to everything. It's pretty solid. So maybe like in DD this guy follow me SD and then get that Terra off could be cool.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think the bolt is the best. Then let's move on to the gouging
Let's do it.
fire. I think its weakest thing is its move pool. It's kind of underwhelming. Its stats are nice, but like, what's it doing?
Yeah, it doesn't get extreme speed was my first note. No, that made me kind of sad about it.
thing that I don't like is that its signature move is like King Shield instead of like Protect, where you can still use status moves at it even though it's protected. And like yes, the upside of burning physical attackers is quite high, but also the downside of like Amoonguss clicking Terra Water in your face and then sporing you is kind of annoying.
Oh shit, you get spored? Oh my god, that's not worth it.
I mean,
You sure do.
you do get to burn a Mungus's Terra at the very least, but yeah, it's also like it's almost inner focus because Iron Hands and Rillaboom really don't want to ever fake you out into your pseudo protect, but Incineroar doesn't care, right? Like it's not actually inner focus. Entei has inner focus. This guy does not, and so
Oh.
it is a lot. I think this is going to be really hard pressed to see play when there are, I think I counted like 5 other fire types that I'd rather be using in Incineroar, Chiyu, Hearthflame, Entei, and Heatran. And so if this is the 6th best, and Armor Rogue too, this is the 7th best fire type in the format, like I don't see this guy seeing much play.
Yeah, and like
And
it doesn't get that many good moves. I really don't think it's doing anything like so different than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it has Dragon Dance or something. I don't know. I was thinking like maybe like okay, Age Slash had Substitute and King's Shield. Maybe you could do something like that with this guy. But he's no Age Slash. He's not doing anything.
No. And it sucks because it's got a very nice stat distribution. I think this is a really good stat distribution, but man, it's just does not do enough even with that.
Joe says, or it just runs protect skull emoji, but I'd like to point out that like the upside of the Pokemon is that it can burn things without actually having to click a move and leave itself vulnerable. But the fact that it clicks a move to burn things and still leaves itself vulnerable to other things is what's really annoying about it. Like sure, run protect if you want, but you aren't gonna get to burn things.
It doesn't
So
even
like
get
it
Sacred Fire.
you lose either or.
It doesn't even get Sacred Fire, which like Entei can use to burn things. I'm just like, yeah,
Right.
I, it's so hard to justify using this guy.
I agree.
What
Um,
about like
Proto Spam Goat.
there's
For
other Protomons I'd rather use.
I'd
yeah,
rather use what is it?
It does get the synergy of like having a stab that's boosted by sun, and also you get the photosynthesis boost.
I guess that's true.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
the Flare
probably,
Blitz it's hard. Sure.
it probably OHKOs itself after like flare blitzing like 2 months.
What's the HP and attack stat?
The HP stat's 105 and the attack's 115, which are decent, not exceptional, but the 121 defense and 93 special defense means it's pretty bulky overall.
Yeah, Waka said it too, but all these Paradox mons have like kind of insane bulk.
Yeah, but
Like
they don't have abilities most of the time, so
true.
yeah, this is the stats are nice, and so I'm glad they made it useless instead of like obnoxious.
That is true. I'd rather have more
Yeah.
useless Pokemon than more obnoxious Pokemon.
I think
Like it
it's
doesn't get parting shot or fake out. I'd rather use the other 150 and fire attack one.
That's really what it comes down to. Every time you put a fire type on your team, you're like, why is this not Incineroar? And you have to have a pretty compelling reason for it not to be, you know. So,
Oh wait, how heavy is this guy?
good question. 590 kilograms, 1,300 pounds. So very heavy
Oh, heat crash could be cool.
to get
Oh
heat press.
shit. Yeah, it does.
It does.
Crash.
Yeah, I just read it on your screens. That's why I was like, ooh, maybe he's just like really fat.
You can Dragon Cheer it.
You could.
Holy shit.
It also
We
gets
just
Dragon
picked the
Cheer.
format.
Yeah.
I think Dragon Cheer is kind of capped, bros. Maybe we could talk about that more
Wait, you
after
don't
we
think
talk about the Goat Iron Crown.
wait,
I
you don't
agree.
think Exorus, Goldie, Terra Dragon cheers the play?
Maybe I don't think so.
I guess
Oh.
that's a great segue to talking about Iron Crown.
Now
Which is-
this guy, I think is kind of hype.
All right, let's hear it.
Mostly because I think that hitting twice in one move is kind of nice. Like a lot of teams that I feel like I build in Regulation E that don't have a Rapid Strike Shifu, I'm like, man, I kind of suck into Chimpow because I can't just blow it up. This guy can blow it up. That's cool. I don't know what else it does. I think it clicks Expanding Force.
It does get expanded
It
force.
gets expanding force, and it is a point faster than Urshifu, which is
Oh,
pretty
that's
cool.
nice.
So if it is
Yeah.
probably the guy if you want to go like, I mean, I guess there's still WAP Arma, but like if you want to go faster side spam, this is maybe the one guy that enables it in a new way.
Wait, what does
Yeah.
WAP stand for?
Weakness armor policy.
Wrong.
Yeah, no, I'd
No
like
comment.
that. Just find a way to be Incineroar, and we're in business. Because this mon,
Um, what about Urshifu, man?
oh shit.
Yeah. This guy isn't beating Incineroar, but it gets along with some help from its friends.
True,
Like Raghav trying to figure out who's taller between Raikou and Executor.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to team build. I just need to know my facts.
Mm,
The stats are good. Yeah. The 122 is not too crazy, but it's definitely enough to get the job done. And I
yeah.
like the expanding for. I'm wondering what the third move is.
Focus
I see
blast.
that it gets the
Focus
psychic
Blast.
noise, which Joe is bringing up, but it's probably not good on it.
Hey, guess what?
Joe was bringing up psychic noise earlier. It's the move that blocks healing. I think it's
That move is
priority.
cap, truthfully. Oh no, Iron
It
Hands.
blocks drain punch.
Yeah,
It
that
blocks Drain
move is
Punch. It
cap.
blocks Pollen Puff. You can't even get hit by Pollen Puff, but of course you are a Steel type, so you don't actually care
Isn't
that
that
much.
move like 10 BP though? So like it's like really cap.
Pollen puff is neutral, bro.
35.
No,
Right?
psychic
It's
noise.
not the worst
Psychic
thing in the
noise.
world.
I think Psychic Noise is pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
Oh, it's an attacking move too. Oh my god, that's kind of
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
Mention like Gothitelle running it is pretty cool. You can run it with like King Gambit. If you trap it in Iron Hands and Psychic Noise it, it can't actually Drain Punch your King Gambit.
Oh
Holy
wait, I'm
shit.
on board
Oh.
now. Hold up.
Wait, hold up. He's cooking.
I am
Yeah.
attracted to psychic noise.
How
This is
am I
awesome.
cooking? People have been talking about this like
Who's
all
people?
day.
Who are you talking to? I don't talk. I talk to only the people here.
Yeah, shit.
Everybody's like, man, we've been in Texas all weekend. I have not seen what's going on in the Pokemon
Bro,
Showdown VGC
read
chat
tw-
room.
Read Twitter, guys. People are talking about it all the time.
I don't follow
Yeah,
people.
my Twitter is a lot more gay than this.
Yeah,
My Twitter is Chainsaw Man fan art.
mine is about Anthony Edwards.
Oh, Anthony Edwards. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Alright.
Yeah, yeah. It's like noise is probably. Does Gothitelle get it? Sure.
Yes,
it
that's what
does.
Joe was
Yeah.
saying in chat earlier.
That is the one maybe cool. Oh, Toxtricity gets it. You know, that's my boy Tox. And it gets a sound move too, so it gets the boost from Punk Rock.
Punk rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so does the Cobalion guy. What is it? Iron Crown.
Iron Crown. Yeah, but like
Wait, is it a sound move? So it goes through sub. So like it screws over sub lefties.
it is a sound
Wait,
move,
it
right?
blocks
I just assumed it
lefties?
was. Yeah, it is.
Did you just say blocks lefties?
It does block lefties. Yes.
Holy shit.
Does it block grassy terrain recovery?
No, I think not.
No.
I think
Wait, we need to
it says
test
moves,
that.
abilities, and held items. It does not say terrain. So,
Okay.
I think it also doesn't block Regenerator because technically Regenerator activates when you've left the field and cleared your debuffs.
And Among Us can pollen puff the enemy still.
But Regenerator doesn't
wait,
work
no,
with
it
wheezing.
can't. Right? You can't click Pollen Puff. Is what I heard.
Yes, no, I tell you could pollen puff the enemy.
But the
Oh
turn's
yes,
over.
you're right. You
so
cannot
I
target
don't
an
know.
ally with Pollen Puff. Okay, cool.
Yeah, see, I know my shit. I mean, my stuff.
As far as I know, it works the same way as Heal Block does. It has the same restrictions as Heal Block does, and so, I'm looking. I'm just trying to see if there's anything about. I know we did a little bit of trivia on Tub Takes when this move was initially announced, but obviously I've forgotten a decent amount of it. I don't see anything about grassy terrain. So as far as I can tell, yeah, you can still use grass. Oh, hold up. They can still use grassy terrain, but cannot be healed by the effects of these moves. So never mind. It does block grassy terrain recovery.
And an update, Heal Block will not prevent Pokemon with the ability Regenerator from having their HP restored upon switching out.
Swag.
Wait, but is it the same as heal block? No, right?
It works
It's
the same as heal block, but it is a damaging move.
But I thought they said heal block doesn't block drain punch.
Wait, what?
Oh, but psychic noise blocks the damage as well. That's what Nerd of Now was saying in the Twitch chat. I don't know anything.
Oh, it blocks drain punch. Heal block did not block drain punch. It prevented healing but not damage. Okay, so I guess it is different. I don't think heal block was actually in the or heal block is actually in the game right now. So maybe that was a change that if it does come back, it'll be the case. But yeah, I was assuming it was working the same as I think we assumed originally that it worked the same as heal block. Although it sounds like some mechanics testing has indicated it does not. So I am curious if other interactions are going to be different as well.
Wait, would it block matcha gotcha if
Yes.
it blocks heal? Oh shit.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. Now is that a bug or is that a feature? Time to find out next patch when they.
Right. Time to find out. It's going to be on stream at Portland, and they're going to be like, ah, shit, we got to fix this. And then, you're going to build your team around it, and then Charlotte's going to come around 3 days before. Fixed.
Hurry up, fucking head ass.
Did you guys know that order up's not supposed to go through protect?
What?
Because they're so transparent about this.
uh, I guess the since the last tub takes they actually patched the Wheezing Roaring Moon. We didn't know about that a week ago.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we can talk about that a little more next week when Alex is hopefully back on because he was the person who was maybe the most impacted out of anyone. He and Richard Mogollon, I guess, is the other person. Richard actually
I
made it
will.
to-
Yeah, we did. There were some people still brave enough to bring Wheezing Roaring Moon, and some of them did do well.
Um,
I will say that I did play against Richard when in day 2, and the nerf definitely affected our matchup. Like Scarf Lando kind of went in a lot harder than it would have if it was played before the patch.
yeah, I also played Richard, and him not being able to lead Weezing next to Roaring Moon was a really big detriment because I think that's exactly what he wanted to do against my team and just couldn't. And when he brought Weezing in game 3, it was not anywhere near as pretty as it should have been. So yeah, I think that definitely hurt those teams. But I mean, kudos to Richard for actually doing really well with it. Despite that, I am curious if I mean that's another Pokemon that is not it's not exactly a new Pokemon. It still was going to have a lot of the same interactions, but it's almost like it feels like a new Pokemon because of the way that it interacts with the way it's completely changed its interaction with the booster energy Pokemon that you used to always pair it with.
Yeah, I think Wheezing Roaring Moon is like props for them for doing well with it, but I think it's unplayable.
Damn,
I'm
Richard
being
really
honest.
played 3 of us. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
All in day 2, right?
Mhm.
Damn. Poor guy.
Well, he played me day 1. Played around
Oh.
6. But yeah, let's go back to some of the new Pokemon that we have because we never got to talk about the other 2 new Pokemon that were introduced to the game that are legal. The cover legendary Terrapagos is a restricted Pokemon, and so it's got some cool interactions. It's definitely got some cool stuff, but I'm not going to talk about that right now because it's not going to be relevant for Regulation F, and who knows when it will be relevant? Potentially starting in May, potentially next year. We'll see. But for now, I think we can talk about Archaludon and Hydrapple. Let's just do Hydrapple real quick because that is probably the one that is going to see the least play. But I think
Mid.
Unfortunately, it is going to just be something that you sit down round 1 to play at a regional and hope your opponent does not get the boosted Fickle Beam effect, and then they get it 5 straight times and jump out of their chair and start doing backflips and cartwheels.
it's 30%, right? Fickle Beam is at 30% to double.
It's 30%, yeah.
And I think I was doing the math, and that makes it essentially like a 100 base power move on average, which is not the worst stab move, right? Like 100 base power dragon move but it is inconsistent. We've seen like what we saw Jamie and Renzo use like Razor Claw Ogre Pawn and say, yeah, I'll take a boost 50% of the time. Expected value is high enough, but this Pokemon is already only okay, and Fickle Beam being inconsistent really doesn't help its case.
It's pretty fickle, but it does have a long neck.
How long is its neck though?
Would you
It's the
snatch your
shortest
neck?
one, I think.
It's only 5'11".
It has good regional deck stats.
Plus. I might do that. In
Just
like
this
new.
one?
That would be fun. I'd play that.
I do think the animation when it uses like its super fickle beam is really funny. It just has a bunch of heads pop out of the apple and blast.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, those stats are nasty. Wait,
It's got really good stats. It's actually got some pretty strong abilities. It's
but the typing is kind of.
it,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just like it's another dragon type, right? And we already got so many new dragon types. The old dragon types were already pretty good. Um, but
It's not even the grass dragon with the longest head. Holy shit.
Oh,
but
that gave me a meme. I'm gonna do that later.
Super Sweet Syrup is potentially cool, where you reduce evasion of opposing Pokemon when sent to battle. Apparently, it only procs once now, or not now. It's always
Right.
been like that, but that is it's not nearly as good as I think it could have been to
Oh,
use. And then same Regenerator is obviously a very strong ability as well, more so in singles than in doubles, but still definitely not bad at all. But like again, if you want to use a Regenerator Grass type, I can think of like another one that you might want to consider using.
Just like
So that's Hydrapple. Don't want to dwell on that one too much. And then Archaludon, the other new dragon type. This one I think. So this one has stamina to get boost its defense when it gets hit. It has sturdy. Probably not going to see that one because it's reasonably bulky, and stalwart, so it can ignore redirection. And then its signature move is Electroshot, which is essentially a Meteor Beam clone, but an electric type move. So it will first turn it will gain a special attack boost, and the second turn it will fire off the shot. If you have a Power Herb, it will of course go in one turn, but also if Rain is currently active, it will also go in one turn. And so it is potentially like a new Rain Abuser, or it could just be used with Power Herb to get that one off Electroshot boost, sort of like Pokemon like Lunala and Nihilego in the past.
yeah. I think that this Mon is either gonna be really good. Like I don't think it's gonna have insane use, but like I would not be surprised to see this Mon in like a top cut or maybe have like one tournament where everyone's like, yo, Archaludon is the call. Because I think it's really cool. I think that unique move is really cool, but it requires you to run a bad Pokemon, whether that's Pelipper or Politoed. Uh, I also
he,
think that stamina is cool. I saw like on ladder silly like Whimsicott beat up teams that also had it.
It does
But
get body
also,
press, right?
yeah, it does get
It
body.
does, yeah.
I think that like it has a lot of cool options, lots of moves. Like not even just it's unique. Like it has body press. It has an
Had. Um, like I guess Meteor Beam is a coverage move. It's got a pretty Snarl is another cool move. I mean, Duraludon already had a very cool move pool. I didn't think it had Aura Sphere before. And obviously Electroshot completely changed the way you play the Pokemon too. But yeah, it's got a lot of different typings that it can or type of attacks it can use. And
so what?
that I
What?
think pairs really well. Of course, it's got a low Spadef stat. The natural conclusion is you put 4 attacks on it with cool coverage, and you've got the Assault Vest. That's great, but I don't know about you guys. This format, I've already felt like I wanted 2 Assault Vests on my team. This
That's
like
true.
it's really hard to like. Yeah, it's a cool Assault Vest Pokemon. It's hard to justify putting the Assault Vest on it when uh, there's so many other Pokemon that also want it.
So what?
Yeah,
Where's the? You go
I
on,
do
Z.
think Instant. Sorry. I do think Instant being like sort of the like defensive like pivoty Pokemon as opposed to Iron Hands in the metagame. Like not that it's going to completely replace Iron Hands, but it is a viable option in comparison. Like that Pokemon obviously doesn't win an Assault Vest as much. Instant invites a Mungus into your team, which means you probably don't want an Assault Vest Rillaboom either. So like it is a Pokemon that you can put an Assault Vest on and just crank up the Spadef to max. Um, More importantly, though, I think that because you really do want to run Assault Vest on it, um, you are going to have to consistently find a place to get up an Electro Shot, or else like unboosted 125 special attack is honestly not insane. Um, and on top of that, like Draco Meteor is a big Dragon type move, so there's some anti synergy there. Um, there's cool things and there's less cool things. Stamina really interests me, especially stamina body press. I think we're going to see them on a lot at Portland, kind of like what I was saying about Raging Bolt. And then I think it'll settle into a place with much lower usage, but like still decent usage.
So what makes me skeptical about this mon is it gets a lot of good coverage. You know what it doesn't get? Dynamax. Duraludon was crazy in Dynamax. This guy is a lot worse of a Pokemon because it does not have Max Wormwind, it does not have Steel Spike, and the damage boost and the secondary effects of Dynamax and double HP were just like huge factors for Duraludon's success. I think all the points that Z brought up are also really good. Is that outside of Rain, like it's kind of hard to get this guy doing some damage if you're not getting that Electro shot up. I think its stats are good and that you can patch it up with AV, but I'm just worried it's not doing enough in its time. You know
True. Give it power herb.
that's also bad, right? Like I also don't think it needs an AV. Like what's Urshifu's special defense? Like this is manageable, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But you really need to you need to make sure it's doing enough damage or yeah, I think that's why I think stamina body press seems like interesting, but stalwart is such a cool ability. I feel like stalwart has to be like the best one, but maybe I'm just wrong on that.
I do think that Stalwart is pretty cool. You either get to do, if you're worried about set up Goldie or set up King Gambit, you have Dark Pulse or Aura Sphere, or potentially both, right? To force a Goldie Terra and Aura Sphere it. So you have both of those options to power through those what are, at the moment are maybe the two most common setup Pokemon in the format, and avoid redirection in the process. But uh, yeah, like I just don't like that is pretty good. That is actually one of the cool things is it does kind of fuck up any like sort of King Gambit support setup teams if you want to use it in that role.
Also, rain dance is kind of not like hard to get up, so maybe the electric move's kind of consistent.
Hmm. Maybe we just see it on Torn Ursh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I was wondering on like a scarf set, but I don't know if it has enough damage. Maybe if you'd have to run like helping hand or some shit. It's also not fast enough, I'm sure.
it is base 85 speed, so it's in an awkward speed tier. This is very crowded, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Archaludon again. I really do think I think we will see a lot of people experiment with this Pokemon, and I don't know how many people will conclude that it's the play for Portland, but Portland's a rainy city, so if there's ever a time to use it, it's probably then. Uh, and then I guess
Rainy day in Portland alt.
let's go register right now. So we do have a bunch of other Pokemon that were not available previously in the game that are now available and will be available to use in Regulation F. Again, I did mention or I did mention this earlier. We don't know about Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, but those are available in the Regulation F Showdown ladder as of now. I think Justin, did you say December 25th is when we get the official announcement?
Yeah, they'll release a list of eligible Pokemon on Pokemon Home on December 25th.
Okay, so
And if it's on the naughty list, it's not allowed, and if it's on the nice list, it is.
We get Santa's list on
Mm-hmm.
on the 25th. So
Yep, gonna be a lot of little gamers opening the presents and then immediately running to Pokemon Showdown to test out Walk and Wake.
Demon, yo, please, please. Like Sunny spams seem so fun. I want to use Walking Wake so bad.
we're
For
gonna
a
we're gonna find out if Joe gets to use Walking Wake on his Portland team.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say. Speaking of that, I thought it was an interesting omen that like you scroll down and you see the list of returning Pokemon, and you see future Portland regional champion Venusaur as the very first fully evolved Pokemon.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's my
Venus.
go.
What do y'all think? Do you think Venusaur's gonna see play?
Hell
I think
yeah! What do you
JUX9 is
mean?
gonna use Venusaur.
I
I
think
don't know if Venusaur
yeah.
is gonna see play.
I can guarantee you Venusaur will be used by at least one person at Portland Regionals.
I think Venusaur is awesome. I don't remember its stats, but it's good enough.
It has 80 speed. That's all I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I think Venusaur could be a Stellar Terra guy.
I don't
Ooh,
That's
know.
interesting.
I could see that.
Does it still get Earth Power?
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
it also still gets
it's
Weather Ball.
it's kind of weak
All
though.
right.
Like,
Yeah, and that's why you use Stellar Terra to buff its stats.
Yeah, but truthfully,
I feel
I
like
don't
you
know.
probably
Like
just don't tear the guy.
Tornado still exists, right? Like so, like even like Sun Spam stuff will be like so hard because You gotta kill that guy.
Yeah, but they're gonna reuse Raging Bolt. Like,
And you can punish it like yeah, like you can have your own Raging Bolt, or like if they're forced to press Rain Dance, you can punish that. That means they're not setting up Tailwind.
Oh shit.
say that as far as legality goes, I do believe that like Raging Bolt, Gouging Fire, Iron Crown, Iron Boulder will be legal for play. And the reason I think, I think it's guaranteed that those will be legal, and it's still up in the air that Walking Wake and Iron Leaves will be legal, is because the Pokédex order has the new four coming first before Terapagos, and then the other two go in the Pokédex after a certain mythical Pokemon that we we might get DMCA'd for if I mention. So
Dude,
Well,
I don't even know what you're talking about. One of you DM me? Like, what are you guys talking about? I don't
Yeah,
know
I'll
this.
DM you.
anyways, I'm saying I think they're treated as as mythicals. Like they could be treated as mythicals, but they're not actually in the game code coded in as mythicals. Like you can use them in official rules 1. So like who knows? It's very confusing. We're getting mixed signals, and the only thing that's going to confirm it is the list we get on the 25th.
hello, Alex, for who has joined. Now we can actually say that Jody and Raghav and Z and Justin and Alex and Adi often stream together.
That's true. I had to get in there. Had to make it canon.
Yeah. All right. Well, Alex, while you're here, it looks like are you in the airport?
Yeah, I've got a connection.
All right. What's your favorite Pokemon? Returning Pokemon. What do you want to talk about?
Returning Pokemon. I think my favorite, if it hasn't been mentioned yet, is Latias.
All right. Yeah. Why is that?
So to start, it naturally walls Urshifu. You kind of saw that with like dragon flying Pokemon. But it's just got some handy typing. Their moves just got a buff. You should try to find the signature moves. I know that
Luster
Latios
Purge
has
or
Luster
Mist Ball? I
Purge.
forget which one's which.
This one has Mist Ball. And yeah, they're now just like Moonblast clones. I mean, like except different. Like they have a 50% secondary effect. It's very good.
50%. Oh my god. Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah. So Latios is going to be very good offensively. This one, solid defensively. I don't know. Like, I don't know how often you're going to be clicking Mist Ball into a special attacker, hoping for a damage reduction. It's mostly going to be like, I'm clicking this to kill Urshifu. But it's like, it's handy if the Flutter switches in on that attack and takes a -1. On top of that, the mon's just got a great pool. Icy Wind, Roost, Tailwind, all that stuff. So,
Chilling Water.
chilling water, big chill. Yeah, the one seems like just very fun. Levitate as well. It's still immune to ground, which is important right now because a lot of the balance cores and like just really opened up by Lando Eye, and yeah,
Yeah. I wonder. So you mentioned Latios also gets a new signature move, or not signature. It's not a new move, but like it's a buff to its
Yeah.
signature move in Luster Purge. That one I think excites me a little more. Partially, honestly, because partially just because it's a better damage dealer. It just does more damage with the higher power move, and then actually I forget what is the is Luster Purge also, it lowers Spadef too, so it really can overpower
Yeah.
things, right? So that is one of the things that I think is very cool about it on more offensive comps. But yeah, Latios and Latios, they've always seen play. It's always been fringe play, but like especially now with Urshifu in the format, with Iron Hands in the format, these are two Pokemon that absolutely, or at least I wouldn't say wallet. Iron Hands and Urshifu hit pretty hard, but they resist both of their stabs, which is a pretty cool place to be in.
I just
dude, I can't
found
even
out
remember. Go
about
ahead.
Luster Purge.
Oh, the buff, or just the move in general.
Both, because I only knew about Mist Ball. I didn't know there was another version of this thing.
Yeah, to be fair, it's weird that they have signature moves that are so similar and different. I mean, I guess it's the same thing as like
Sense, but like, okay,
They
this
were
is
also
cool.
worse than Psychic for 5 generations, 6 generations.
it was.
So
Yeah,
I don't
it was
blame you.
funny. The moves have existed for a very long time to have a cool animation and no other purpose.
Oh, well,
It
I
would
found
be
out about
funny to
Mist Ball
see.
yesterday, to be fair.
It would be funny to see Latios and Latios make a resurgence in the DLC that's kind of themed around Unova, because the last time like Latios was really good was Gen 5.
Yes,
I mean, I'm
sir.
here for it. They
Yo,
seem pretty
yeah.
decently primed into the metagame. I've seen people post replays in various chats where there's like a lot of Latios on the ladder. Less so Latios, but like I do believe that uh, for the reasons of it being a better damage dealer and Luster Purge like sort of compounding on itself where you can just get repeated spit F drops, like that one probably could be pretty strong too. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, like I want to put a Chiyu next to this guy. I want to click Tailwind, and
Yeah.
or he switch into all
Word.
the fighting type moves and water type moves. I want to sometimes drop their Spadef and then hit him with the Heat Wave. You know, like that. Those all seem like cool interactions that you can do with Latios
I
on more
just
offensive
6 0'd your
teams.
entire
Yeah, I
team
want
with
to put it
Sputter
next
Mains.
to Incineroar because it's the same thing. Better, probably.
That will that's a
I
place
was
where
playing
Latios
some,
is probably better, but yeah.
I was playing some games earlier on the ladder with ESM. We queued into a Chiyu, and yeah, we had an instant. It's just like that. I'm on flipping burgers, bro. Chiyu, not looking good.
It's okay. I'm bringing
Do
back
you know
my
how
Terra
much?
Water Terra Blast Chiyu from Reg C.
No, fuck that. Do you know how much Terrifier Helping Hand overheat in Sun does to Incineroar?
I'm gonna wait for the tweet. I'll find out when there's a tweet.
Where's the
Okay.
keep it for
There,
Falca's
there,
right. Keep it for
surely
the
there
Falca's
will be
right.
a tweet
No,
within the next 24 hours.
yeah,
Within the
don't,
next 24 seconds,
don't leak
Jody's
my
on it.
drafts. Don't leak my drafts.
All right.
We talked about Dugong and how like yeah, just 6-1 six fake out Parish is gonna be ruining VGC.
You know what? We can maybe talk about that a little more next week. We do have a bunch of other Pokemon to get through real quick. But I mean, stop me if you see anything that you want to talk about. I don't know how VGC relevant some of these guys are. Was Charizard already legal actually? Was that legal right now?
Yeah,
It was?
Charizard's been illegal since Reg D. Yeah, and
Okay.
anything that had like one of those promoted terror raids became legal in Reg D.
Oh, okay. Well, never saw any play. Blastoise, I don't think this is going to be relevant. The
You can Shell
dude.
Smash Wave Crash.
Many people have mentioned it. Maybe not on the podcast yet, but with Magmar and Electivire getting Follow Me, we were really hoping to see this guy get Follow Me VGC legally. That would have been very hype. Arguably like 10
Get,
times more hype than Magmar and Evire or Magmar and Electabuzz.
get
Or
this guy
whatever.
off the stream. He keeps stealing my everything I'm gonna say.
True. This is why we can't be on the same one. I stole the
I
brain
hope you
trust.
miss your flight, man. Get out.
Gosh.
I gotta respect Burns as a hater. Number one in my
This guy
heart.
gets Flip Turn too? Flip Turn Wave Crash? Oh my god, it's
Yeah,
Basque Legion.
dude, imagine because the set was in DOU, fake out, flip turn, and follow me. Like, do you know how cracked that would be?
Right?
Are you about Blastoise right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, this is a hypothetical set though, because it did
Still
not get
sounds
follow
kind of
me.
bad. I don't know. It's not that
Oh,
much
okay.
damage.
It was
Yeah.
valid. It was valid in DOU.
Blastoise was like a tier 1 Pokemon at one point in Sword and Shield DOU.
Oh wait, actually you're right. No, the stats are pretty good. Like it's better than Ogerpon, but defensively, I just realized.
It's also got spin, Raghav, which I don't think you're respecting enough. A
I'm
spinner.
talking about it in VGC.
Yeah. It's the Gamora counter.
True?
Yeah,
well,
bro.
well, speaking of Glamora, I know it's not a new Pokemon. It gets Meteor Beam now. I think that guy's kind of real again.
Whoa.
I did not know it got Meteor Beam. That's pretty hot.
Did you know
Um,
that armor gets meat beam?
We did talk
I
about
did
that.
mention that specifically.
Okay, nice. Of course. Context.
I do apologize for mentioning it though.
Did you know that Arbor gets Scorching Sands?
Wait, what?
Yeah, armor now gets Scorching Sands. So if it wants to hit Heatran, it has a ground move.
Oh.
You also have to
Jody heard that and
apologize
woke
for
up.
that Can't be
Yeah,
giving guys that players game.
I'm building side spam after streaming.
Ninetales also gets Scorching Sands now. I think it had it back in Gen 8, but it didn't have it in like Reg D and E or whatever. But Scorching Sands makes Ninetales a pretty reasonable consideration over Torkoal now because it's not lacking a way to hit Heatran, and it outspeeds Heatran, so you can put on the pressure a bit more proactively as opposed to needing speed control.
Iron Moth gets Meteor Beam
It does. It does.
That's true. If
and Protect.
I'll just making up Pokemon
And
there.
protect.
It's big.
That's pretty good.
wait, Jody, did you? Oh no, you didn't play the Iron Moth at NAIC.
No.
Raghav, did you?
No,
Okay.
I was winning.
Yeah.
It cut. It was in top 8.
I know that's because I didn't play it.
Fair.
Wait, so, Adi, did you talk about our stream set already or no?
I figured we'd talk about that more next week when I thought you'd actually be on.
When I'm actually out. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, we'll save it.
Yeah. Don't worry. We're gonna have plenty of time. Now, this is the first week. Everyone wants to talk about the DLC, and then next week everyone's gonna be bored and no one's gonna be on the podcast, so we'll have plenty of time to,
Wait,
to talk
Hold
shit.
on. Is Monday Christmas?
I think it is.
Monday is
Monday
Christmas.
is Christmas.
Okay, we'll have to I could maybe do the 26th. I don't think I could do actual Christmas. So
We
we'll
can
see.
we can move it back to 26th. Honestly, we should because apparently we're gonna get official legality on the 25th anyways. So kind of makes sense.
True.
Biggest thing that day I heard.
Santa Claus is gonna come
No,
down.
have you
Iron
heard
Bundle's
of
gonna
Jesus
come down the
or
chimney.
whatever, Raghav?
What'd you say?
Did you hear about Jesus?
Did you say Iron Jesus?
Yeah,
Iron cheese.
Does it get
I'm not
meteor
trying to
beam?
offend anyone.
I guess it would have to be Iron Jesus because this is the future, right?
True.
Does it get revival blessing?
I'm writing
what
new
would-
Bible lore later.
Make
Yeah,
it-
wait, would a
After-
Scarlet version just be before Christ?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Is what's the past name? You think it's before Christ? I like that.
Bros, can we please just scroll down to Entei already?
Okay, yeah, we'll go back to this. No one tell Donald about Dodrio. He was building that in the hotel room after day 1.
We gotta stop at Magmar and Electabuzz.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's true.
So
true.
Magmar and Electabuzz, legendary VGC Follow Me users historically who finally have gotten them back. I think what was it? Sejin got top 4 at Worlds with Follow Me Magmar. That was a thing.
Top eight.
Top 8.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see this guy get that move back. Maybe I gotta go and find one of these guys from XD Gale of Darkness where you originally could get it from.
What's the stats?
So it does have Eviolite available, and what's its abilities? Actually, I missed that. Flame Body, right? That's pretty cool. Or Vital Spirit, so you can redirect to Mungus, which is actually pretty cool as well.
You can
Both
so
of them are quite
Flame,
interesting.
Flame Body's
It is
interesting
cool.
because if you redirect Surging Strikes and Flame Body procs on the first hit, then the burn will reduce damage for the second and third hit.
Yeah,
you
I
definitely,
think just Flame Body in general is going to de-incentivize them from hitting you, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
It also works pretty nice with Terra Grass. You follow me and resist the Surging Strikes and have the chance to burn, and you can redirect Spores without having to run Vital Spirit at that point. So that sounds
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
nice.
Even if you don't Terra though, sometimes even if
Burn
you die to the
itself.
even if you die to the Surging Strikes, you still burn the Urshifu, and the rest of your team has a better time handling it.
Yeah,
And
Or you
it's-
could,
And it
use-
honestly, with Follow Me, its support move pool is pretty nice because it has Will-O-Wisp, and I think it has Helping Hand.
it has Helping
And then
Hand,
you
and it's got a base 100 special attack stat, and it can just click Overheat, so it can spit out damage too if it needs to.
Yeah, Overheat.
Yeah, to address the question in the chat, I think those are a few of the things that set it apart from Ogre Pawn, are that it does have actual utility moves, Will-Wisp being probably the biggest one. In addition, not carrying over some of the defensive weaknesses that Grass has are pretty nice. Because Fire Grass is okay defensively in some places, but pretty bad defensively in other places. Notably, it's a Bleak Windstorm weakness. So there are some nice things about Magmar for sure.
And
Oh, it
also
it's
gets
way
clear.
bulkier.
It also gets Smog, which could be funny.
It also gets to defensively Terra. Ogre Pawn, locked into fire, so if it wants to redirect something like an Urshifu, it's always taking neutral damage at best. Whereas Magmar can defensively Terra, like you mentioned, to be Terra Water, Terra Grass, and more effectively deal with those Pokemon that you might want to deal with.
Good
So,
speed stat too. That's kind of funny. It's not super fast, but it's I thought it would be slower.
yeah. Electabuzz, also the other guy that gets Follow Me now, and historically has it from XD Gale of Darkness. And this guy, Static and Vital Spirit, if you want the electric immunity, I guess Electivire also has Motor Drive. and has Follow Me, although I guess I don't actually know what his stats look like. I have not thought about this guy since literally Gen 4. But Static is also a pretty cool ability if you want to paralyze Pokemon potentially. Burning Urshifu, usually better, but this one actually like threatens the Urshifu and doesn't immediately die to Urshifu. So it's got that going for it, on top of having that bonus chance. Or, again, same idea where you can redirect Amoonguss a little better. This one I think has less competition because there are not other Follow Me electric types unless you want to use Pachirisu, right? And so that is one cool thing that it has going for it. Sorry, Jeudy. That woke him up again.
Yeah. He looked scared this time. I think it was a nightmare.
No, I'm up. I'm up.
Yeah, so
I do think Magmar probably comes out a little bit ahead, just because Fire has an actual, well, a better defensive profile, we'll say, than Electric, where you're resisting like Fine and Steel, and Electric, like resisting Fairy and Grass are like more important, I would imagine. But I think both of them have some sort of potential. And like killing Ursh is not insignificant at all.
Yeah, damage is born too.
Wait, was Electivire legal? Did John use Electivire? Or John who?
this is the new
Did
Pokemon,
who? You
right?
know he did.
Okay,
I had to take
that's
him
the
down.
last thing I remember about it.
I'm just looking at it now because I've not looked at this Pokemon in a long time. It loses speed. Electabuzz is faster. They made
Electabuzz is
they made
really
the evolution
fast,
slower
wow.
than Urshifu. What's the point? Never mind. Forget about this guy. He sucks.
But Electabuzz is kind of lit. Holy shit!
He needed.
He also looks like a weird like bully. Like I don't know. I feel like Electabuzz would call me slurs.
But like affectionately.
No, like in a mean way
Oh.
for sure.
No.
All right. Actually, we didn't talk about. I guess we didn't pass it yet. So I mean, Seadra has an evolution. Porygon has an evolution that we can talk about eventually. I don't think any of the Johto starters are relevant. Sorry, Meganium. I don't know. I'm scrolling. Kingdra and Porygon 2. Okay, now we got some interesting ones. Kingdra gets Wave Crash and has the. It's maybe one of the best. It's the only Pokemon that I think is actually well positioned to take advantage of Dragon Cheer because it also has Sniper. So that is maybe a reason to use it. I don't think it's still very good, but that is a niche that it has that nothing else can really do.
Wait,
I still
Sniper
think
Dragon
Swiss
Cheer
one's
is so
better.
lit.
I'd rather just click Muddy Water and Rain.
Dragon Spear didn't
I
matter,
think
that
the
move
best
doesn't-
Swiss Swim Pokemon is Urshifu and Tailwind, personally.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
Respect.
Okay, but its ability is called Sniper. That's so cool with Draco and Dragon Cheer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in Dragon Cheer. That move's never gonna.
Yeah,
I
you're
also
right.
I also think it's Cap.
It's a bad move, and I think the only Pokemon that I think can even think about abusing it is Kingdra because of Sniper being so powerful when you get a critical hit. But yeah, like I am not really a believer, especially since it's not that it's a bad move, it's that the nothing gets it that isn't a Dragon type. There's so few non-Dragon types that get it,
I was
and
gonna say.
you really
Or
don't
to look
want
at
to
the
put
list
two
for
Dragon
exactly
types that
that.
go next to each other.
Dude, if you run Sniper, you can't run Swift Swim. This is ass.
Go down and click on Dragon Cheer. I want to see how many non-dragons actually get it. There's
Would
one
you believe
notable
me
one
if
that
I
I
told
heard
you
people
it
talking
didn't
about.
get it?
Salazzle is one that can get. Oh, this one doesn't get it. Salazzle is the one that can.
I mean, there's some like
Charizard.
Lapras, Charizard, Sceptile. Sceptile also got Shed Tail now as another new move that it can learn.
Oh, Gyarados?
Milotic, Gyarados.
Gyarados finally has a good
Yeah, why
support.
does Lapras, Charizard, regular Eggy,
Charizard's a dragon, bro.
Dragons,
Executor's a
bro.
dragon.
Charizard, Gyarados, and Lapras
Ampharos?
have always learned dragon moves for some reason.
Rampardos?
Dragons
Lapras.
too.
No.
Lapras and Charizard have been on dragon type champions teams.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out. I click
All
Dragon
these,
Cheer
all these
with my
check out next
Tatsugiri.
for Salazzle. What is Girl doing?
Yeah, you can dragon cheer your Dondozo with your Tatsugiri.
Iron Jugulus gets it?
Do you wanna say that one again, buddy?
You can dragon cheer your Dondozo with your Tatsugiri.
It's gonna be
How are you pulling that one off?
it's gonna be
Water
so
Blur.
good on ladder when I'm Storm Drain Tatsugiri with my
Yeah,
my
I'm clicking
Oblivious Dozo.
dragon cheer next to my Dondozo. What's the problem?
Okay.
Did I do I need to make myself clear?
Yeah, your connection must be cutting off.
All right.
All right, moving on. Porygon 2, the next Pokemon that I want to talk about. This guy is was a menace back in the last generation, Generation 8. We got Dusclops. We did not get Porygon 2. Dusclops definitely saw some play. Now we got another Eviolite Trick Room setter right as we get the most notorious knockoff mon back in the game. What do y'all think about P2?
I think P2 is probably most comparable to like its 2018 performance, I feel like, where it's like, yeah, P2's a decent mon in that format. It's got good coverage for the metagame. It's hard to kill, but knockoff is fairly present. There's some fighting types. Like overall the damage is a little bit too strong for it to like infinitely wall things like it did in VGC 17. And like one of the main niches it had in the Dynamax era was that you hit a max move into it and then it recovers off the next turn and it's like you've effectively wasted your turn. Uh, that's not really anything that happens anymore. Um, but notably, to Ghost Resist, we don't have a lot of those in the format. I guess there's Incineroar. Um, like there's cool things it does, but I don't think that it is going to. I've heard some people say that it's going to be like the best returning Pokemon, and I just don't see how that is going to play out.
I can't
Very
imagine anyone saying
freaking what
that
Z's
knowing
saying.
Incineroar is coming back.
Wait, it has
I
that
think
high of a special attack stat?
it'll be good, not amazing. But like I've been, every time I'm a P2 doubter, it ends up like doing better than I expected. So I'm not. Don't sleep on it. It's
True.
It,
Well,
the fact that there's one terrestrialization, but two that there's the best Pokemon in the game is a Ghost type, does make the mono Tri Attack a little worse. You can't get away with like Tri Attack Ice Beam nearly as well against Flutter Mane. But Terra Blast is a cool move it can use too, where it can it's a normal stab, and then if it wants to Terra defensively or Terra into a different type, it can do that and still continue to click the one stab move that it needs, which is pretty cool. So that maybe is some roll compression if you really have a bunch of other support moves that you want to use, like Trick Room, like Recover. So that is something else that it can do.
Yeah, I think Luca was the one who was talking to me about you running Terra Blast Ghost, so that if you lead it into Flutter, you get a physical attack download boost, and then you can Terra Ghost Blast the Flutter main and pop it unless it Terras.
wait, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I
Was
did.
this Luca Paz or
Dragoon.
Luca?
No, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's
That
actually
should be
really
easy to dance around though. Like,
nah, bro.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really.
I don't think it's like game breaking, but it is some nice technology, and like Terra Ghost is a fairly reasonable Terra to have on the normal type, anyways.
like if
Z,
I see that on the team sheet, I'm always shadowballing the normal type.
Do it. Now
Yeah,
you have
you
such
I
a
should.
way with words, Z. New
I
technology.
also like. Do you don't? I don't think you kill. This guy's pretty bulky. Like you probably just live it anyways. It's not a great trade, but it's something.
well, what if Vern's Stellar Terra?
You probably kill that, especially if you Terra. Um, I mean, I guess only if you Terra, but yeah.
What was I looking at?
I,
Well, Stellar Terra is kind of interesting actually on the guy.
On P2, yeah.
P2 is maybe one of the biggest beneficiaries of defensive Terra, in my opinion, because it can get to end games where you can't break through it and it can recover and 1v1 whatever you want it to.
No, Recover is fake, bro. It literally any Pokemon. They're just
I
all
Yeah,
don't.
I don't know if I agree with that.
P2
You
is
just
probably
said,
a mon with where like the recover PP nerf actually really does come into play.
wait, what's the PP
Other
nerf?
things. Yeah, it's 8 now.
Was it 16 before?
It
It
was.
was 16. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That
thinking
is
about
kind
like
of
common
silly.
teams like right now, and there's exactly like one Pokemon that Pichu will beat in an endgame, and that's Torn. Not if it has Taunt, probably. I mean, well, I guess it's probably gonna outdamage it by then. But yeah,
I was
Hey,
thinking.
download's cool, man. You can do a lot with the +1 Thunderbolt and Urshifu.
Yeah, yeah. You can download a card too, but
I would much rather download it.
I think like 3 attacks. Trick Room is honestly probably good. Like download like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Press Ring, Urshifu, Torn,
Aeroblast.
Terra Blast. I think it's cool. I think it'll have use. But like the problem is that Trick Room is just kind of mid this
Especially
Yeah.
with
gen
Intin.
Oh,
so
it is.
far.
Intin just is such a deterrent for Trick Room because it stalls it out so effectively with Fake Out and Parting Shot. So
So like Trick Room was already mid before Incineroar came out, and
Yeah.
now Incineroar is coming out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's where I'm at when it comes to Trick
Yeah,
Room.
like there's a lot of guys that don't particularly mind you setting up Trick Room. Iron Hands, the Rillaboom is a good disruptor, especially when your Trick Room setter isn't for graph and you can actually click Fake Out.
King Gambit is still going to be around, and you have to be very slow to have some slow mons to really abuse that or to underspeed that guy. So
So,
absolutely.
are there any other
Right.
good mons that we can talk about, or do we want to keep talking about a bad one?
You want to talk about Smeargle?
Ante! Ante!
Do we want to talk about Smeargle?
No,
This guy's
NK,
back.
I'm Smeargle.
Oh, you want to go through this move pool?
Smeargle,
Um,
I
I guess
like.
the two moves that I'm excited Smeargle gets that maybe see play are Decorate. I think Decorate is kind of crazy. It never has had the ability to learn that. And then it does get Shed Tail, and Shed Tail is kind of a cool move too. I don't think it's the best abuser of it, but as a flex spot, if you just want to ignore it, maybe that's an option as well. But I think the only thing that I would really use
The one
Smeargle
on
for is Decorate.
That's
Only
got to be
people
like the
that get no
weakest sub
glows
ever.
are gonna use
did it get
use
revival blessing?
Smeargle.
No,
It cannot
it
learn
doesn't.
Revival Blessing.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Smeargle
I
scares the
think a lot of
host.
the new generation is going to be in for some interesting ladder games. I'll say that much.
I've
But I
already
think
seen
not
Smeargle
all I
buff.
think about
My
Squirtle.
thing, yeah, with Smeargle is like there's gonna be that one good player that uses it, and it's just gonna be so annoying. But like, I'm not
Mm,
prepping for Smeargle ever.
I'm
Like,
not
I'm
prepping for
playing
Smeargle
so.
I'm already,
until I have a reason to prep for Smeargle. I'm not prepping for Smeargle.
yeah.
Okay, but what if Ian McLaughlin goes to my locals? Then do I have to prep for Smeargle?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Is Hitmontop like really, really bad?
Yes.
Yes.
In fact,
Darn.
we're gonna skip it, and we're gonna skip Raikou too, because I've looked at that guy and he gets nothing.
Yeah, so
Um,
then can we talk about Entei
Raikou
now?
so
gets calm
we're gonna
line.
let Z talk about Entei.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. We get an interesting Pokemon with Entei, in my opinion. I've been an Entei fan since all the way back in 2015. Sacred Fire is just an awesome move. It's got a great speed tier. Even still, 100 is pretty solid. Unfortunately, that is slower than Lando Eye, which is now a very relevant Pokemon. But there are some cool things you can do with it. Terra Normal E-Speed on a Pokemon that can't be intimidated with Inner Focus probably sounds a little familiar to some people. Of course, it is a little bit weaker than Dragonite, but the better offensive coverage, in my opinion. Sacred Fire, notably. Like, I think it bounces out. You get Stomping Tantrum for Heatran. Uh, like, it's just probably one of the better offensive fires, in my opinion. It serves a nice defensive niche in that, like, you can run an Assault Vest on it, and it'll just eat Flutter Mane hits, like, repeatedly. And you can click Iron Head and do it if you want. It's a pretty good Terra Blast user if you don't want to run Terra Normal and want to run something like Terra Grass instead and prey on Urshifus. I think there's just a lot you can do with it, and it being one of the main Pokemon that is bringing Burn back into the metagame because, with the exception of like a very select number of like Hisui and Arcanine sets, we really have not had Will-O-Wisp be like a main metagame factor since August. And like this is one of the guys that's going to bring that back, which is big for like affecting how Iron Hands stands in the metagame. It's one of the best guys though. Well, not one of the best, but it is another offensive fire that preys on Rillaboom, stuff like that. Like I just think it's pretty well poised to be a nice addition to the metagame. Not like top tier, but to the point where I think it'll see some good performances in the next few regionals.
It's also got, if you want on a special set, we've seen it use Eruption in the past
Oh.
as well for that. What?
Yeah, no, you're right. You can run a Ruxpin.
But look at his special attack stat.
It is much lower, but Eruption is a pretty powerful move, so it does kind of offset. I do think the physical set with E-Speed is
Yeah.
probably the way to go. Sacred Fire is a crazy move. It also gets Snarl if you want to run Assault Vest on it, which is a pseudo size spam answer too. So that is another
Okay,
cool
AB
thing you
seems
can do.
awesome, but you want it on so many mons, and you don't get the Incinemungus treatment with this guy. So no fake out on the team. I'm not sure about. Oh, I guess you could run like Chin Power Rillaboom or something. Well,
Well,
you can figure it out.
the other thing is, a lot of Assault Vest Mons have the downside of not running Protect and therefore being very susceptible to Fake Out, and this one is not. And that is one very cool thing it gets to do that other Assault Vest Mons cannot.
That is pretty swag.
But yeah, that's Entei. I'm going to start running through these a little faster because we probably are running out of time a little bit. But Suicune is also another Pokemon that I think does have a niche. We'll see some play because it gets Scald, and it is one of the very few Pokemon that does have Scald. Still Inner Focus, so it still is water immune as well, and just kind of does all the things that Suicune is known for doing: clicking Tailwind, clicking Scald, clicking. It gets like Chilling Water and Snarl now, so it can actually reduce either stat. Icy Wind as well, so it can reduce a ton of different stats from your opponent. I don't know if it gets any Scald, Tailwind, plus something like Icy Wind are really the reasons to run this guy, and this guy is definitely going to be seen on ladder. I think we're going to see some like Mr. GX run it, and maybe some other people too.
Speaking of ladder heroes, Burns, I saw Blahawk off on the ladder.
Oh, I saw him too.
That's
Or
pretty base.
I saw his team.
Suicune seems too slow for the format, maybe. I don't know. I think like it has cool damage reduction abilities, but I don't think it's doing its thing fast enough. Maybe like Snarl. Is Chilling Water too weak? Like I think Scald's
So
better.
I
So
think
Skull's pretty good.
so. It reminds me a lot of like Grimmsnarl, where like it is just like a pretty fat utility Pokemon that gets to click a lot of moves and be annoying, but in most cases it is in a
it's not
format
doing
that's
enough.
too fast paced to like get its job done.
Mm-hmm.
If it hits its sheer cold, then maybe.
True.
You can tear it into an ice type to get the 30% accurate sheer colds.
Wait,
That's
what?
the technology.
All right. I'm going to keep scrolling. I didn't see any mons that were relevant back there, but Metagross is definitely going to be relevant. One of the pseudo legendary, I think the only pseudo legendary that wasn't in the game. So now this guy's
This
back.
guy's sick.
He is clear body. So again, Incineroar, obviously Incineroar hits it really hard with either of its stab moves, but clear body meaning it can't get intimidated. It's obviously very good. And then it does have some very very strong moves. Notably, it got Psychic Fangs as a new stab move that it can run, which is probably a little. I think it's 5 base power weaker than Zen Headbutt. No, it's actually stronger than
The
Headbutt.
stronger.
Oh, it is stronger. Yeah,
Dude,
okay. So it's
Zen
just
is the most
objectively
washed
an
up
upgrade to
move.
Zen Headbutt.
And it hits
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Hits 100% of the
Yeah,
time.
but
He also just looks cool. Clear body's awesome.
Yeah, I like
Bullet
Metagross.
punch is good.
It gets Heavy
He gets
Slam
knocked
too,
off.
so it can potentially use that as a
He also gets
stab
hard
move of
press.
choice. Hard press too, but hard press is not a great move.
Yeah, but it's cool.
It is cool. It gets knockoff,
I'm
I think,
very
for the first
excited
time
for
ever,
Metagross.
right? It never had knockoff
It's hard.
before.
It's a lot of moves. No, not intimidatable. Those things are pretty big factors.
Yeah, and notably, it has bullet punch, and that means that it can threaten Flutter Mane despite being weak to Flutter Mane, which is I think something that if you're ever using a psychic type, you kind of have to consider.
Can't get its speed dropped by Bleak Windstorm.
True. But yeah, moving on. We talked about the Lotties. I don't think the Reggies are going to be super relevant, although I could
I
be
think
convinced that
Terra.
Reggie Rock with Terra might be good. With Iron
Or
Defense Body
Steel.
Press. Or
Yeah,
Steel.
the I defensive body press stuff might be interesting if they get the right terrors for the matchups they're playing.
Yeah, it's just pretty damn annoying.
Yeah.
I think it's just worse than Orthworm. Sorry.
I think you're wrong, Alex, and that you should board your plane.
Guy who's only ever used Orthworm. I think it's worse than Orthworm. I guess.
I agree with what you said.
So I guess Porygon Z and Regigigas, two mons that have seen play in Dynamax formats as max strike users. I don't know. What do y'all think either of these guys are going to be any good?
Not really.
I don't know what PZ does.
It's got a
What?
high special attack stat and download. That's about as far as I've gotten
we're
with it.
not seeing PG.
What about
Shout out.
Regigigas
Or adaptability. Oh yeah.
Weezing?
Shout out to a certain Porygon Z user in this story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay,
worry.
Alex. While you're here, Mr. Weezing, Gigas Weezing, is it real?
Crush Grip?
No.
Okay.
Darn.
Moving to the next Pokemon. Superior. People keep putting Superior on their tier list, and I'm not sure why. What does this guy do?
Ask
He
James
clicks Leaf
Bolt.
Storm. He clicks the. He gets to boost off of Stellar Blast.
Oh.
Terra Stellar Blast.
Stellar
That's
Terrorblast.
not nothing.
That is.
So I do want to say that I think Donald and Eternal Snowman were laddering with Superior like the Friday before the regional, and They did like, gosh, I don't even remember how much. They like did nothing to something, and Donald was like, "Yeah, throw this mon in the trash."
Yeah, I don't think those guys have any
It
credibility
does have
associated with
like
it, though.
75 special attack to start off with, even if it's
If
boosted.
yeah, I
Throw
could
this
see
guy.
I'm
it
pretty sure
being
that
not great.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it does have to be. Again, it does pass the Urshifu check where it outspeeds Urshifu and hopefully kills Urshifu with Leaf Storm. I hope. Um, but that's about the most it has going for it. So maybe unless you're Jamie Boyd, don't run this mon. Let's see. Excadrill. Excadrill is definitely gonna see some play.
Cheeks. Nope, bad.
I
I
think
think it's bad.
T-Tar, it did win a regional,
Yeah.
even though it had even though it's so weak to Urshifu and Rillaboom. What I like about Excadrill is, if people switch away from Landorus to Incineroar as your intimidated user of choice, it does it does have a pretty good way of, it does interact pretty well with that as a physical attacker, so that is something that it can do. And then again, not having to click Tailwind and getting your speed boost is always pretty powerful. So
I guess you could Iron Head the Flutter, but like I don't know, it's got too many holes in it.
no.
Look, I'm gonna say it again. Don't sleep on this guy. He kind of weaseled his way into the 2018,
15? Oh, 18.
and in 2015 some bozo cut Nats with it. So like,
Dude, I'm not an expert defender, despite it having the
in
history.
2018, some bozo cut Nash. There's a two. Len cut with 2018, right? So it keeps
he
doing
didn't
it.
use
Wait, really?
Excadrill. He did
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
use
that's
Excadrill.
Oh, he didn't. Oh, he just said what he is.
It was just
It-
T-Tar, I thought.
It just
T-Tar,
just runs.
Gyarados, Salamence, Amoonguss. I played him in cut, so like,
never mind. I caught a regional with Excadrill right before nationals, so really, it was relevant. It was definitely
In
Yeah,
relevant.
I think-
2018 or
In
what?
2018, yeah. That was my first
I
I mean,
feel
regional.
the
bad
better
for taking
the better
way too much
Excadrill
time to
team.
think about who cut 15 Nats with Excadrill. My bad, Alex.
All good, all
The
good.
better Excadrill team in 18 was Sajin's team. Sorry, Audie.
Nah, my team was kind of trash. But I caught a regional with it, and I was a new player, so I was very proud of myself. It still has a special place in my heart. I will always be an Excadrill believer, but I will probably not be bringing it to Portland.
I did cut my first Masters regional with Misty Seed Driftbloom, so that also has a special place in my heart, but is ass.
All right, guys, tell me if I'm overselling it. Is Wims a top 3 mon in, like, not like top 3 overall, but is it a top 3 like returning mon from the DLC? feel like
yes.
Maybe.
And I think it's a little overselling it. It's definitely top 10,
Mm-hmm.
maybe top 5.
Yeah.
Like, Instance number 1, right? What's number 2? Metagross?
Like, I do think this thing's probably better overall than like.
Okay.
I think
Well, if you're just saying
good.
returning Pokemon and not new Pokemon, because I was thinking Raging Bolt might be number 2, but that is just a new Pokemon.
Oh no,
I
we
think-
meant returning, yeah.
I think Venusaur is better than Whimsicott. I think
That's
Metagross
okay.
is better than Whimsicott. I think, like, obviously Ensign. I might say Latias is better than Whimsicott.
I might like. I'm saying I
I
probably
also think
prefer all the
Latias is
Pokemon
probably
you
better than
listed.
Whimsicott.
Like, I'm very happy that I get to read my opponent's team sheet whenever I play Whimsicott.
True.
That's true. That
Honestly,
is very true.
That is a pretty serious nerf.
all the mons that you mentioned, Burns, are the ones that I would prefer over Whimsicott, but I think that that Whimsicott just has more overall like utility. It can fit onto more teams than the guys. And
Maybe
It's gonna-
Whimsicott is better than those guys, but also Tornadus is just better than Whimsicott in most cases. So like, just
Whimsicott does. I mean, has a pretty solid defensive typing. Is one thing that it actually has going for it. That I kind of like. And the other thing is, it gets beat up, and we have Terrakion back, and we have Annihilate. So it does. We do get to go back to those strategies, and those have always been pretty powerful, especially early
no,
on.
Buddy, you didn't even mention all the guys. There's a full 6 for the team. We're gonna be laddering. So you run Whimsicott with weakness policy, weak armor, and armor rouge, and so you can beat that up and get a billion speed boosts and your weakness policy activated. You have Indeedee. We're not beating up our Indeedee, I guess. That's the least hype part of the team, but we need it for expanding force. Then you have the Annihilate that you're beating up for Rage Fist. You have the Terrakion that you're beating up for Justified. But it doesn't stop there. There's one more, and that's the new guy, Archaludon. We're beating it up for stamina stacks so that we can body press. It's Whimsicott plus 4 beat up targets. It's so high. I
Uh,
played some games with it. It's dumb.
beat up's a good move. It does enable a lot of stuff, and that stuff is usually spooky. So that's one thing. Sad they didn't give it grass whistle. I'd be clicking grass whistle all day with this guy, but sadly I'm not allowed to. Um, but yeah, Whimsicott is around. I guess we have different the thoughts about how powerful it'll be, but certainly I'd be shocked not to see it around at Portland Regionals. Continuing down, tell me if one of these guys got something cool. I guess Reuniclus got expanding force, so potentially one of those guys, but Armorug's pretty good, you know. Um, Terrakion, I just mentioned, probably only sees plays as a beat up mon, and then I don't know if Kabalion or Verisian it will ever see play.
Audie, I don't see anything until Incineroar. Like,
Yeah,
you
okay.
can just keep moving.
Yeah.
We know what Incineroar
Yeah.
does. We can keep moving.
We've talked about Incineroar enough. Primarina is a Pokemon that a lot of people have hyped up. What do y'all think about that?
I miss
Uh,
Tapu Fini.
Primarina and
Yeah,
Araquanid.
it's giving big I miss Tapu Fini vibes, but like Water Fairy is pretty good. It hits hard. Um,
I don't think it got
Terra
anything
Poison
new.
makes a lot of sense on it, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it got any buffs or anything like that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
limit the finish on it. Just run like CM instead of Mighty Water. You're running Hyper Voice with Liquid Voice, and then Moonblast Protect or whatever. Like you can just run a similar set. The typing is strong. That's all it needs, really.
Hmm. We also got Araquanid as the other like water type that's coming back. That's going to hit really hard. Water Bubble, still a crazy ability. And then yeah, just I mean probably more on dedicated Trick Room teams, right? You still probably would rather run Urshifu, but or I guess Alex, you're the Araquanid guy, right?
I'm not really a spider guy. I love them on, but I've never done anything with it,
Oh,
to be honest.
oh yeah, your Trick Room team did not have Araquanid on it.
I love
Nah.
Araquanid.
No,
All right,
I was
well,
on that band guys team. We don't have to talk about it.
Just remember that if you aren't using PG Spider, you're literally throwing.
Same was supposed to be said for Rock Dog, but then somebody must. I don't know.
Damn.
Comfey,
I was talking about the guy in Brisbane. You know,
Comfey is another Pokemon that is very near and dear to my heart, and it does get Tailwind now, which is a new move it gets. So it does get that little buff along with Floral Healing. So maybe a Pokemon. I don't know. Might see
It's
some
kind of
people.
cool. I didn't know I got Tailwind. I was thinking about that earlier, and I was like, with just Floral Healing, unless you're gonna do like some Draining Kiss and Annihilate shenanigans, it's probably just worse than Clefairy. But that does give it a
That guy
real
gets
niche.
that guy gets good. I'm bashing Psychic Noise.
Yeah, I guess Tailwind.
True.
Um, let's see what else. What else is up? I guess Alchemy is the and Duraludon are the other ones. Alchemy is a Decorate user, and I think that's the last Pokemon. And Justin, I know you're a believer in Alchemy, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna parting shot into my Flutter Mane and then decorate the Flutter Mane.
that's pretty funny.
That sounds so scary.
Are you Speed Booster Fluttermane too? You can get +1 speed, +2 special attack.
I mean, yeah, I could be Speed Booster. I could be Specs.
Does
Be
Decorate
anything,
work on
really.
clear body mons?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Does. I don't think it works on gold though.
Does not work.
I'm
on
gonna
gold.
decorate
No,
my.
no,
I'm
we're
gonna
not on
decorate
gold.
my opponent's contrary Pokemon.
No, I mean, what you do is you run it with another Alchemy, clicking Alluring Voice, so that you can decorate it and then Alluring Voice them to confuse.
Exactly. I'm gonna
Um,
do that. I'm gonna parting shot a King Gambit and then alluring voice it, and then it's gonna.
Oh wait, no, we'll just use Smeargle. Smeargle will decorate them, and Alchemy will Alluring Voice them.
And then it'll hit itself in confusion to Oko.
Yeah.
I did not realize they gave every single type a different flavor text. That's crazy. Every single different color.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's called flavor text for a reason.
I guess.
Ooh.
Okay, so that covers all the new Pokemon. I think we don't have time to talk about all the new like moves and stuff, and all the new TMs and new move pool additions to old Pokemon. So we'll try to touch on some of those the more notable ones on the next tub takes. But now we're gonna wrap it up with the calc is right. Alex, I don't think you're gonna get. You can give guesses, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to participate as a someone who has it because we probably don't want to do 6 of them. But Yeah.
Don't want to do 5 of them.
We can do 5 of them, I think.
Let's do like 3. Let's do
Let's
3. I'm
let's do
hungry.
3. I've got one. Alex is forcing me to do one. So this is really like ours together.
Yeah, it's our joint one. It's our
Yeah.
I
joint
have
one.
one as well.
All right. Well, Raghav, I guess do you want to start?
Sure. How much do you think 252 modest Paragraph Psyshock the Life Orb one does to 4 HP Fluttermane?
Hmm.
100.
4 HP, and that's it. Like no.
Oh, I'm going with 85.
Um,
88. 88.
to
Alright.
just min bulk Fluttermane, 4 HP, 4 defense.
Uh, yeah, 4 HP 4 defense.
Uh,
Sorry.
I'm saying 120. I think it kills it.
I'm gonna go with 90.
Okay, you gotta lock one in,
Wait.
Jody.
Yeah, Jody, you just changed your answer.
I'll
7
do
out of 8 chance to Oko.
80, 88, 80, 90, 88, 88.
Okay. Also,
88.
Z, you can only give one exact number.
Yeah, 88.
Oh, I have to
80.
give an exact number? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because then
I was
if
gonna
it falls
do
within
that.
the range, you're.
I mean,
you're good.
if you say 100, that's basically saying there's a chance to Oko.
Sure. I'll do 105.
Okay,
Alright.
well
105 up on the.
I'm doing 100.
100,
Alright, I'm
105.
taking-
I said 120, and then did
I
Jody
was
give
gonna.
him?
He
88,
said
88.
90. No, he said 88, and I was gonna steal Jody's number and say 90.
Okay.
90. All right. Classic Alex, always waiting for everyone else to finish and then picking a number.
I mean, yeah, that is actually what I did this time.
Okay, it looks like if I'm doing this right, it's doing 105 to 125. Is that right?
Bro,
He's
take
the
the-
only one right.
Please.
Shit.
Wait. What?
I had to fight him twice,
man.
and it was doing 60 to my Iron Hand
Wait,
with Friend
wait,
Guard up.
Audie, take
What?
the 4 out of defense.
Oh, is he not 40
And that
defense?
is not making it do 100%.
Okay, whoever guessed 105 is wrong.
It was already
Friend
wrong.
just
This is
would've
more than
been
wrong.
No, Z still didn't get it because it's 105.3.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that just chunks. I mean, it was crazy to try to position Iron Hands against it. Even with
I'm
Friend
surprised
Guard.
Iron Hands took so much.
It took a lot. I mean, I was very fast Iron Hands, so I was not as bulky invested as I could have been, but it did a lot.
When I played Geo at Sacramento, Weezing had to tank that, but it did because it's got a lot of defense.
True.
Too bad you couldn't use Weezing last weekend.
True.
Too bad. Too bad
alright.
you couldn't. Too bad you. I don't know where I was going with that one.
Let's talk about Weezing though. Adi, why don't you go ahead and run your calc?
My calc. All right. I figured. Okay. So my calc, of course, notable stream set. Where Alex and he had burnt my Clefairy and taunted it as well. So it had no attacking moves, 0 attack IV, minus attack nature, and it was click and struggle into a. Do you want to do how much defense investment did your Weezing have?
It's 252, 12.
12.
I think.
So 12
Plus,
defense
12
Weezing.
plus. 12 plus.
12 plus 12 bold. But you can't give me a percentage. You got to give me an exact HP number for this one.
What's the?
I think it does
Six.
1 damage.
Okay.
6 from Z.
I'm
1
going
from
with
Burns.
I'm going with 3.
3.
3 from Raghav.
Jody.
Well, what's the question again?
It's how much does the burn Clefairy struggle due to a Weezing?
Wait, it's burned?
Yeah, it's burned.
It's burned.
Oh,
I gotta go with 1 as well. I can't though.
I'm gonna go with 2.
2. So.
Right. We have all our guesses, and I gotta say, I don't know who is and isn't the fake fans, but
Right.
I did have 2 HP on stream, and it was revealed to KO. So it does at least 2, if not more. The ones
It could be
are
a roll.
wrong.
It
could
could be
be.
a roll. Imagine
You're
if you lost that game on a
Oh my god.
It is doing 3 to 4 HP. So
Okay, I was
Oh
right.
my
It's
God.
3.
it always
Also, we didn't even get to
kills.
hear
No,
Z's answer.
Raghav, you don't get the point. You
You,
changed to 1.
you
I
changed your
heard you.
answer.
No, I couldn't because 1's not.
You
I'm
changed
not
your
the same
answer.
answer as someone.
Raghav, you changed your answer. I'm sorry. You don't get this one.
This is so racist. Just because I'm the only Indian on the call.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Jeudy is right
Sorry, I
there,
thought
my
you were
man.
Rajan still.
Rajan comes running in from the back room.
I heard his alarm go off in the background. He was like, I don't want to hear Top Take. I'm gonna take a nap.
Well, Jody's here too, so there's three
Yeah,
Ians.
that's true. You're me.
All right. Anyone else have a calc? Let's do a couple more if we can.
Okay, I got one.
All right.
Alright, what does 252 Choice Specs Terrifier the Helping Hand in the Sun Chiyu Overheat versus Max HP, Max Spit F, AV Incineroar?
Okay.
To beat
man.
the
You got the
brand.
AV on there.
50%.
I'm gonna say
So I don't
I'm gonna say
I don't know
70.
the answer, so I'm gonna guess too.
I'm gonna say it was 70%.
I'm gonna
I'm
go a
putting
little
down
higher
80.
and say 90.
Dang, we're actually just picking like all the tens. What the
I'm
heck?
gonna go with 84.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 80.
All
All right,
right.
me and Jody are in agreement.
Z,
on
did you
80.
guess?
50.
50.
84 is too high. I'm gonna
I'm
stick
low
with 84
rolling
though.
it.
Alright,
Alright,
Choice specs.
Since
Terrifier.
Jody stole my
Terra-
80, I'm gonna
Is it modest or
sneak up
timid?
and pick
Modest?
81.
Yeah, of
Modest.
course modest.
Of
Always
course,
modest.
modest. In the Sun.
Helping
Again.
hand.
Incineroar. 252. 252. Calm.
Don't forget the helping hand.
Salt Vest. Oh, there's Helping Hand too?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It just
What
murders.
the
It just
heck?
kills.
Oh, yeah, that's my next tweet. Don't steal it.
Alright then.
Oh yeah, if Incineroar is so
50% my
good,
ass.
then
I posted the non-AV calc in text for voice, so I was like,
Wait, what? Why didn't you? You should have known the answer then.
I don't know how to do math.
Man.
Okay.
we're San Antonio Regional Finalists, everybody.
I play on vibes, man. If I overthink, I get anxious.
I remember when we had Paul on. I think after EYC, or I forget we were just talking about it, and he was just shocked at some like basic math. That yeah, I was like, I do this all the time when I'm playing, and you're just playing.
I think Paul was one of the worst Calcus right contestants we've had, which is just so funny for how experienced a player he is.
All right. I think Justin and Z, do y'all have any calcs you wanted to share?
I'm way too tired to come up with a calc.
That's fine.
Wait, what happens if you unclick the neutralizing gas button? Nothing. Okay, it didn't affect the calc.
I guess it doesn't work. Oh. Alex, not Alex and Call. Narrative now. Did neutralizing gas not affect you?
Does.
It should.
I thought it did.
Supposed
Maybe
to.
that's part of the new bug thing, though.
All right.
No, I'm pretty sure it's just the channel shit not working.
All right, Justin, do you have a calc, or do you want to just kind of end it here?
I don't have a calc.
All right. On that note, well, thank you all for coming by. Thank you to all of our guests. I know this went a little long. It's kind of hard to. We got a few more opinions than normal, but I appreciate that we had 7 different people on call today. That's crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, this was really fun, and congratulations to all of you for doing so well at the regional. Well, not you, Alex, but everyone else.
Okay, Adi, this was the strongest top 259 we've seen in a long time.
I already made that joke. I said it was the top 19.
Hey, I tweeted about the joke because you were too scared to.
No, I just like the caption.
Do we have any? Do y'all want any shout outs or something that you want to give? Anything you want to plug?
Stay
shout out
tuned
to
for
me,
the date confirmation
Yeah.
of me and Raghav's wedding. I'll be announcing it shortly.
Oh, is there a post-wedding mid-season showdown?
We'll try to
Yeah.
organize one. I
Okay.
do have a TO in the
There has to be
family.
a not canon.
Winner gets to perform the ceremony.
Nice.
So I guess it's like a preseason, pre-wedding MSS.
Yeah, it's like a regional. The PC's on Friday and the MSS is on Sunday.
You're right. You're right.
All right.
Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna throw you over to Kira who is also at San Antonio Regional. She's also an Austin local. So yeah, go say hi to her. Tell her where you came from, and thank you all for tuning in.
Tub Nash.
All right.
Bye bye.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye bye.
Gang.
Gang.